for unfiltered hate speech?
Uh, let's see. It's time to actually transition over to the actual show because it is 6 o'clock in any part of the
All
world that
right.
actually matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And we're live. Welcome to the Vomitorium. As always, I'm your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer, who's in the middle of eating, so you can't see his camera right now. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing just peachy. Woke up this afternoon because I go to sleep in the morning with my special alarm set, as I do every single day that there's a presidential inauguration. So once every 4 years, to REM's "The End of the World as We Know It," and I feel fine.
Sounds
So
perfect.
aside from the gloomy news of every single inauguration, it's been great.
I
Because the
noticed.
problem I have is, real quick, right, and I'll let you say what you say. The problem I have is it doesn't
Mhm.
matter who wins. It's just awful on social media.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say. Was that I
Uh,
noticed that the Twitter retards are clapping and laughing,
yeah, yeah.
clapping,
It's
clapping and laughing.
it's like that every time. Ever since social
Mhm.
media has been around, it's like what? Since it's been prevalent, the third time it's happened.
Mhm. GMT says when there's an election result here, I listen to Send in the Clowns.
That's a pretty fair one too.
Yeah.
Especially, I follow the politics over across the pond, and yeah, yeah, it's fair. That's totally fair.
I posted a picture of Gilbert Grape, you know, very, very happy on
Yeah,
Minds,
yeah, I
and
saw
said, "This
that.
is Twitter right now."
So
I'm
let's
sure you
see.
can guess what I googled to find that.
Um, I don't know. Maybe it has a word we're not allowed to say on some of the platforms we're on.
Yeah, a word I already said earlier,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
happy, not smart people.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Glad somebody follows the politics here. I don't.
So yeah, sorry, I took a bit of a nap too, so I'm kind of
Yeah, yeah.
waking up
So
and
I think
eating.
coming off of that note, maybe we should start with some really gloomy news that the cynic in me is
Right?
laughing at really, really hard. See, the best thing of this time is to be a cynic because you can at least find some enjoyment in how like fucked up the world is.
Hmm.
But Valve and five other PC game publishers find themselves in a legal suit with the EU over antitrust problems, with a total fine between them of $9.4 million for illegal geo blocking.
Hmm.
Do you know what that means?
Well, I assume it means certain people in certain areas or people in certain areas can't get games.
Yes, to a degree, right? And in some cases, even if they can get a game, the keys are restricted to the country because they're charging different
Hmm.
prices from country to country,
Oh, I see.
which goes against the EU's like agreements and stuff because they have like a single digital market as part of their agreement. So it's technically
Hmm.
illegal to charge different countries in the EU different prices for digital goods.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, which I think is absurd, honestly, because in some cases, I mean, we don't do that here to it, but we do. What we do is we just, each state has their own taxes. So you could charge the same price, but then you have to say what like state you're in, so you have to pay the taxes on the good for that state. And the companies involved
Right.
are Valve, who owes 1.6 million euros. Right. Bandai Namco, who owes 340,000 euro. Capcom, which is 396,000. Focus Home, which is 2.8 million. Koch Media, which is 977,000, and ZeniMax, which is 1.6 million. Which ZeniMax you would know as being the what is it? The above company on top of Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
yeah, the big problem specifically. Wait, were you saying something?
No, why is Focus Home getting such a big? I don't even know who
I
Focus Home is.
honestly don't know. I don't know what kind of games Focus Home makes. They're
Hmm.
just in here. Probably find that real quick.
Do you like my new Totally Real background that totally has real games behind me?
Yes, yes, it is definitely real. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Focus Home Interactive is a Parisian company that, between them and their subsidiaries, have made games like Vampire, Call of Cthulhu, Greedfall, mostly a bunch of games that I've never played or cared to play before. Oh, they also do Farming Simulator. Okay, that makes sense. That's a really popular game.
Oh, they made Greedfall?
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard of that.
Oh, they made Sticks. Okay, okay, I know that. There's a game I'm familiar with other than Farming Simulator.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
wait a minute.
They probably just have a lot of subsidiaries, because all these games would be under their subsidiaries. Because like with ZeniMax, they're charging against the top company, not any like individual.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I see. So, yeah, they're a publisher. They're a publisher. So,
Kind of, Bandai Namco's a publisher, ZeniMax is a publisher. They have studios that work with them, under them, and so on and so forth.
yeah, I've got Farming Simulator 19. Okay.
Yeah, and for Valve, at least, the commission said that the fines were reduced between 10 to 15% for the companies, but Valve is trying to fight it because he said that they think this is not fair and that they are, I think, effectively taking things out of context because Valve claims to be fully cooperative. I don't know about that. I know Valve as a company. They've got some good graces historically, but they, like all of these big companies, they've screwed over a lot of people. And the thing that gets me down to why I think the geo-blocking happened in the first place, because a lot of it comes down to them charging different prices in different regions the more you read into this, which they're not allowed to do. Comes down to the fact that a lot of the keys for some of the games in the 5 publishers did not work outside of the countries Czechia, also formerly known as the Czech Republic, or even officially still known as that in some places, Poland, Hungary, Romania, Slovakia, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Can you tell me one thing that all of these countries have in common within the EU?
They're all former Russian bloc countries?
Well, that is also true, but
Okay.
there's another thing they have in common in the modern day in the Eastern Bloc.
Are they all preventing illegal immigration?
They're all really, really red-pilled.
Uh-huh.
They don't deal with any of, like, the woke bullshit or anything like that. And they don't, like, charge you extra money for having that stuff in the game or try to censor you for stuff like that either.
Yeah.
Right?
I see.
And I think that's what it comes down to a lot. Because there are certain uncensored games that are sold there that aren't sold other places in the EU.
Okay. So, I mean, if they allowed them to be sold other places, would they have gotten fines because they didn't censor them or something?
Well, it just they aren't sold other places, and you're not allowed within the EU to block the sales of digital products from one country to the other. It's part of the EU's trading agreement, so they're under
So
an
I don't.
antitrust violation.
So what? I mean, what's the EU? Are they trying to allow those games to be sold in places where they're not allowed to be sold?
I think it just comes down to all or nothing, right? You either let the game be sold at the same price or freely everywhere in the EU, or you just don't let them get sold at all.
Yeah. So I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I mean, these other countries have banned the games. Is that the problem?
I don't think it's a ban thing. Because technically a censored and uncensored version of a game would be two different games.
Right.
Yeah. So there are the countries that don't fall into the Eastern Bloc do not have access to the games that are being sold in the Eastern Bloc.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. It seems like that's
Yeah.
by design by the countries, by the Western European countries. It seems like they didn't want those things to be sold there.
Yeah. I think, personally, if I was part of these game companies, I understand that Europe is a big market. If you count the number of gamers in proportion to society, you'd think it's like, well, compared to the U.S. population, they're like 1.5 times the size of us if you count all of Europe. So they probably have 1.5 times as many gamers there to sell games to. You don't want to lose that, but if the EU is going to be this big of a prick of like a free market and letting you decide what who you can and can't sell things to, then I would probably just stop doing business in Europe.
I guess. I mean, is it that they're basically they're basically trying to prevent these companies from selling the uncensored versions at all?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, and it's not just down to censorship. It's just down to financial control. You know, they don't get to choose what their prices are, whether the prices get to be different from country to country, who they do and don't sell things to. It's basically it's like you want to, and this is fair from the EU's perspective though. If you want to do business in the EU, this is how you have to do it.
Yeah. But I mean, I just don't. There seems to be something missing here. Like okay, just sell it at the same price everywhere.
Yep.
And you'll sell slightly less in areas where people are poorer, like the Eastern Bloc countries, and more in the other areas. But are they basically saying you can't? It seems like they're saying that you can't sell uncensored per Western European rules, uncensored games to the Eastern Europeans.
Yeah. Well, so actually, under the EU, you're not supposed to sell games that don't fit their qualifications anyway.
Yeah.
So that also might be part of this. Sneaky behind their back is like, oh well, these poorer countries where people don't really pay attention to sales, we can sell the game however we want. But the ones where people actually hard pay attention to the EU codes, we have to follow their rules.
Yeah. Seems like they're screwed either way unless they decide to censor the games, in which case I wouldn't bother with Europe.
Yeah, well, I mean, the EU's codes for like games are really ridiculous. In fact, you've seen the modern restrictions for Sony games, right?
Yeah, and aren't those usually based on Chinese rules?
Well, they're like one-to-one the EU code right now. They basically took it straight from the EU's rules.
Right.
And you could probably bet that the EU's rules probably have something to do with the Chinese rules too, because China is like the biggest market.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why if I were making a game, I would make it for PC first, and then Switch, and then hopefully see if it'll pass the others, and if not, then oh well, it won't be on your console then. But yeah, I don't know how you navigate all these other countries like that, all these rules.
Yeah. Well, I know one way some countries had been getting around it in the EU is, while everyone uses euros, some countries still have, like, their own currency, like, say, Romania and stuff. So they've been buying these games through Valve using the Romanian currency instead of euros. But, according to EU regulation, even if you allow them to use their local currency, you have to make it equivalent to what the translation to euros are because of their single digital market.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you use a VPN, if you're in Europe and you spoof an American IP address, can you pay in dollars?
I don't know. I would hope so. I know there's a lot of people. It's not super common because you have to have a certain level of wealth to do it. There's a lot of people in other countries that invest in having digital American currency for that stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I even see it here because I know people who have like Japanese bank accounts and they keep like digital yen just to buy things from Japan. So it's not super uncommon.
Yeah. I know it's difficult to do that. Like, I know PayPal accounts. If you open it in a different country, you can never. If you want to have an account like in the U.S., it has to be a separate account. You can't like switch it over.
You'd have to get a way to pay with the U.S. address. You know what? That actually isn't as hard as you think. Because in certain states, there are loopholes that easily let you get a remote P.O. box as long as you pay for it. There's a lot of people that find loopholes to do stuff like that. Like in Alaska, I think it used to be this way, where there's P.O. boxes to boxes that don't actually exist.
Mm-hmm. In fact, I've used one of those services.
Yeah.
Where they give you a U.S. address, and you send it to that, and then they ship it to Europe, and then that ships to the final. Actually, this was to Australia, but they also do Europe. But yeah, I've shipped to Australia by basically setting up an account with this company. It ships to a U.S. address, and then from there it ships to Australia.
Yeah.
So,
it's ridiculous the loopholes you have to jump through, but they exist.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, now that Brexit is done, they should just concentrate on selling to Great Britain.
Yeah, because it's going to be difficult for a while, because right now Great Britain still follows a lot of the EU rules, and they'll have to follow some of them if they still want to have EU as like a trading partner. But they'll be a lot more open on other things. I think, though, it's going to get worse with trying to sell uncensored things to Britain unless they get different leaders in charge. Because right now it seems like their censorship plans on their own are even stricter than what it was in the EU.
Yeah. I don't know. Mr. Squeaker says he's on D-Live for the stickers.
Yeah, D-Live does have like probably one of the best chats out of all the different streaming services I've been on over the years.
Yeah. I'm looking over there to see if he's posting stickers.
Now, here's the problem too, right? And this is why Valve also thinks they're not in trouble, though there are arguments against it. And is that a lot of these agreements between these different companies, and Valve also claims that it's not directly their fault because they don't have control over all ongoings on their service, and that you need to blame these other companies because it's specifically like Bandai Namco and stuff like that. But that some of these agreements have lasted more than 11 years, which would have been before the EU put these policies in place.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not aware of what's going on, how could they correct it? Now, you could still say, being ignorant doesn't mean that you're not in trouble with the law. There's a lot of different arguments against that, but...
well, how much control do they give the individual companies?
They give the companies a lot of control when it comes to pricing because they just take a percentage cut. It's a ridiculous one. I think it's like 30%, but they just take a cut. And they have it's almost like there's price markers because they're always at like the 99 cent because they're for like the tax brackets and stuff like that. I don't know how well that works in the other currencies. I only know how the tax brackets work in our in the US, but I'm assuming there's some type of equivalent when it comes to exchange and stuff for other countries.
Well, like, shouldn't Valve basically set it up so that when you set your prices,
It just
you
fixes it
have
across
just,
all the EU countries.
yeah, what's your EU price? That's it.
Yeah, that should be the case. But I think it's because their prices are done in currency, right? So it's like not by location, but if you're selling in this currency, what is the price?
I see.
Yeah, so they probably
Well,
should
it
just
just,
change their system to work the other way around.
yeah, or it should be just like you set the price in a currency and it just automatically,
Like Amazon.
you know, converts it to all the other,
Because
all
that's
the
what
currencies
Amazon does.
right, where it has to be the same.
Because I even did this myself when I was setting up my book for sale. And then once you put it in dollars, it automatically is like, okay, well, this is what it's going to sell in all these other countries. You don't adjust it or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least if you're going to have a special price for the EU, like you said, you set it for the EU, and then there'll be a drop down where it shows what that price is going to be in each of the other countries' currencies within the EU, and there's nothing you can do to change that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I assume that's what they're going to do now.
Yeah. I don't see any way around it if they want to keep doing business in the EU. A lot of these articles are stupid. Like, I've been reading through some of them, too. Like, the articles involved are Article 101 of the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union and Article 53 of the Agreement of the European Union Economic Area. And when you start getting into the nitty-gritty of this stuff, you're like, I understand why the UK wanted out as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read stuff about their fishing policies that were so basically screwed the UK fishing industry.
Jim says VAT tax is 20% over there in the UK. It was 15, but the government did it for an emergency a decade ago and never changed it back. Yeah, you can't let the government have emergency powers on literally anything because they never give any power back, taxes included.
Right. If you let them do whatever they want during an emergency, then they'll create an emergency so they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, it's a very bad precedent. And the only way to get it to go away is by mass civil disobedience.
Yep.
Or, I mean, I guess the French Revolution had their own method, but I can't condone that.
Hey, Rick Piper's here, and Travis.
You know, he says it's like people didn't learn from Kaiser, but to be fair, he wasn't the problem. If you actually read the history. I mean, like, Julius wasn't the best guy. He had his issues. But it was the Senate that was the problem. And actually, throughout all of history, if we keep looking too, while there are tyrants, it's usually whatever faux Republican committee underneath them that actually ends up being the problem. And he had to exhume supreme power from the Senate because they were being the problem. And what did the Senate do to him? Stabbed him in the back.
Yep.
I'm just going to say it. Julius Kaiser did nothing wrong. Well, other than commit genocide to a group of people across the ocean. But aside from that, he did nothing wrong.
What is Mrs. Diller Draws doing? Tweeting another show during our show.
Oh, I don't know.
Stop. There we go.
That's pretty much all I have to say on that subject, unless you have anything to add. I just thought it'd be a little interesting world news to talk about at the start of the show.
Yeah, not really. I mean, who knows? Who knows what the EU's doing?
They're crazy.
They're always doing something insane. Well, I'm going to tweet out a link to the Vomitorium underneath hers.
Oh, okay. Did you have a subject to talk about, or you want me to go right into the next one?
No, not really.
Okay. So,
Not at the
here's
moment.
a neat little thing that I stumbled upon looking for news today, and I couldn't not talk about it because I thought it was the most interesting thing to ever hit Reddit. Everybody knows about the Ace Attorney video games, right? And how memeable they are. They're wonderful, wonderful games. And it's fun to just, like, post objection at people. Well, somebody, a user, actually I have the username right here, named Opie Suika, which is a great name, created a bot that you can type in the comments, and it's just, I think you just exclamation mark objection bot with a hyphen in between. And if you drop it in the comments underneath something, like an argument, the bot will take the argument and transcribe it into a Phoenix Wright argument video, where user 1 by default will be Phoenix, user 2 by default will be Miles Edgeworth, and any other comment in their comment in the thread, they'll start adding different random characters from the game, egging them on. And they'll even, like, interject, like, objections and hold it and all the stuff that you're used to, and sometimes the judge will even come in and bang the gavel.
This is a video?
Yeah, it makes it into a video. You hit exclamation mark objection bot like GMT did in the live chat. In anywhere, it only works in Reddit, but the source, like the source code for it, is open, so you could basically make that bot for anything, even for Discord if you took the time to do it. And it basically just creates a video sequence of that with the sound effects and everything, and the background music.
Oh, I see. So you have to already have a conversation going on, right?
Yes. And arguing in Reddit is a very common thing to happen. So you could just go and find any entertaining argument, drop that bot's little link in there, and it'll just snap it up for you as fast as it can.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm watching.
Objection.
I'm watching one of these. Stop using reply all, idiots. Yeah, that's silly. So this works in Reddit only, right?
Yeah. That's what the user made it for. But like I said, the source is available, like all the coding for it. And you can just go and make your own version. Like if you took the time and made it work with Discord, you could turn it into a Discord bot. Now I'm assuming there would have to be some online host for it, like most Discord bots. Like you'd have to create a site, or maybe you could have it all, the files all sit within a mega upload drive or something like that. But yeah, you could do it anywhere if you took the time.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder. So, does this only works in one thread though, right? Or one?
Yes. Whatever you reply to, it'll take the thread going unilaterally upward from that reply.
Okay, but only in one subreddit, right?
I believe it works Reddit wide.
Really?
But there is a dedicated subreddit to it called r/objection battles.
Objection bot battles, yeah.
Which is where you can see people posting the results of them in there. So it's basically just a subreddit that has links to all the videos if you just want to watch some random, entertaining, transcribed arguments on Reddit.
Yeah.
Which is always a fun thing to do. Like, just go there and find, not necessarily that one, but there are Reddit threads. I think a whole subreddit dedicated to finding dumb arguments on Reddit. And you could just make a whole video series of you getting a couple people and doing, like, courtroom readings of the dumb arguments that people have.
Yeah. That's funny. You're the reason that they're going to get away with stealing the election, dummy. Yeah, I'm just watching. I'm watching one of these. How does it figure out where to insert the objections?
I don't know.
It's random.
I'm sure that would be in the code that's available. Like, there's probably something in there that teaches it, hey, if you see this type of break, this would be a good spot to put them in. Or, like, this type of response, you should put an objection to. There's probably,
And
like, keywords that clue it in or something.
It has a problem when it goes to a fourth line of text and you can't see the bottom, unfortunately.
I think
Where's
it
the code
probably,
for
the
this?
base of it, looking at the words and the sprites used, I think it uses the classic, No, actually, that looks like sprites. I think this was made from scratch. Okay. Because do you remember the website that was like objection? And you could like type any phrase in and it would spit out like an objection thing for you. I used to have it favorited.
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah, it
think
was
I
like,
remember
it
that.
might have, I don't know if it still works because it might have worked in Flash for all I know, but, yeah, actually I do have it still bookmarked. Let's see if it opens. Objection is closed. Darn it.
Oh. Where's the code? Is it on GitHub?
I don't know. Here, I have to throw the link up. Let me find it.
Objection bot files.
Yeah, it says, was also kind enough to post the source code. Let's see. Is it on... Oh, I think it's probably in this comment thread that's highlighted. Which is reddit.com/r/python is where it was put.
Oh.
Yeah. And here's the code. Yeah, it's in GitHub. Here, I'll drop the link in the chat if anybody wants to see it.
That's cool.
Which also means if you're listening to this later on, I'm not putting the link in the description because I will forget. You'll just have to hop over, find this spot in one, like in a YouTube video, and look at the YouTube chat to find it. But it shouldn't be that hard. It's literally just objection bot and search GitHub. Or no, it's Ace Attorney Reddit
Ace Attorney.
bot is the, yeah.
Yeah. But I have to learn Python, damn it.
Yeah, but you know, we've gone over this. It's not that hard. You know, especially if you already know Java, like it's pretty easy to adapt to Python.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I don't really know Java, but I know C#.
Yeah, well, you know, then if you know C#, it's not hard to adapt to either of the two.
Yeah. All right, I got a copy of the code, so we're gonna put that. We're gonna do that for our Discord.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. I'm gonna have to actually make a sub, like a chat room called the Arena. And if people want to get into arguments in the Discord, that is fine. I'm not gonna stop anybody from coming into our Discord and arguing. Just make sure you do it in the Arena. In fact, I will go and make that chat room right now while we're talking. Yeah.
Let's see here. Client, Reddit client ID. Reddit client secret. Yeah, I'd have to figure out how to connect this up to Reddit. I mean to Discord.
Yeah, there's got to be a way.
It looks like there's a there's a Reddit API, so there must be a Discord API. As long as you have a login.
Yo, there's definitely a Discord API because, you know, there are plenty of bots in Discord.
Mm-hmm. I just want to know how it picks out the animations. There must be set animations that it's got places.
Yeah.
Class, location, and character. Okay, so it collects, it has 6 different locations that each scene is showing, and 14 different characters that it could show.
Yes, we do have a Discord. Let me double check. It should be in the description where it says join the Discord to call.
you have a Discord? Yes, of course.
Yeah. Let's see.
And then it has all these different effects that you can do, like just show text, do an
Yeah, it's in the
objection.
description.
So you can improve this with like a hold it. Don't they say hold it a lot?
They do. Hold it! Take that! Objection!
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can improve this.
Yeah. Not so fast! That was one of the later ones added.
Oh, it's got, wait. Where is it? There must... Sorry, I'm confused as to where it's getting the PNG files. Oh,
Yeah,
well, I'll have to
maybe
go
one of the
through
problems
this.
is we might have, unless like there were folders that came with it, but we may have to find some of this stuff individually.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't have the code doesn't have any images. So I'm just wondering if it's getting the images from somewhere else. I'm not
Like
sure.
wherever the host for the bot is probably has all the images on there. Because if you have a bot,
Oh, you think?
somewhere on the internet it's going to have to be hosting that information for it to work properly.
Yeah. I don't really know how these bots work. But yeah, there's somewhere there is an assets folder, and there's an asset slash, defense empty witness, basically the backgrounds, and then there's the sprites. There's also under the assets folder. So interesting. Yeah, we'd have to see there's an objection.gif, and
Yeah.
I'd have to get a hold it.
Yeah, it's probably not. It'll probably be tedious, but it probably won't be too hard. We just have to do some minor research about how these things work.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, cool story. Cool story, bro.
Yeah, it entertained me.
Hey, GMT moved over to YouTube. So confusing.
No, it's she even said earlier. She likes DLive, but her phone or her laptop is so small. It needs the ability to go to 360.
Oh, I see.
Make one for Mines. Oh, could you? I mean, Mines, all their stuff's open. They probably have an API. Like, literally everything about their site, their code is open source. So.
Oh, it's open source totally. So yeah.
Yeah. It might be a little more difficult figuring out like where things go in there if they don't have a direct API, but it's totally possible.
The only issue is that you'd have to. I mean, the way their comments work, it's not all linear, so it may not make quite as much sense because basically you could go through all the comments, but the next comment isn't replying to the previous comment; it's replying to the.
Yeah. Well, I
original.
mean, so Reddit works the same way if you look at it, right? It takes whatever the last comment would have been that the objection bot replied to, and it just unilaterally goes straight up. So if there's any other branching comments, it ignores it. It just goes straight from where you are to the top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. Well,
Because
I have
I
to
do
take
like
a
the
quick-
way Reddit does comments. Mine works the same way. It's not as neatly displayed because of how compact everything is. But it's basically just a nested thread. That's all Reddit comics are, and you can see like here's the main nested thread. And then there's smaller and smaller condensing nested threads within it, and you can go out a nest and find the next one. And
Well, that's the only thing that bothers me about Mines is that you can only nest things like 3 deep.
yeah,
You can't just keep.
while Reddit can go like, I think they have the capacity to go like 100 deep because it'll start. DeviantArt does the same way, like old forums, it goes back and forth, but nothing ever goes further than like 16 deep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have to take a brief bio break.
Okay.
After breaks, I'll be right back.
Reddit can be a mess because of that too. Sometimes it can be hard to tell what nest you're still in. It kind of makes me miss forums. Forums were better, Because even though later forums had the ability to nest threads, I would always click just straight up from oldest to newest, or newest to oldest, depending on what type of thread you're jumping in, and leave it unnested and just have to like have the link to the original reply. I just liked going through the whole list chronologically. Nesting in forums became a mess like really fast. Especially when people get unreasonably angry. Yeah, but that's just the internet. But man, I kind of want to start a forum. I don't know what I'd have to do that, but I really miss forum activity. Forums were better than social media. I don't care what anybody says. And in some degree, like, Reddit is the modern replacement to forums, but we all know how Reddit is. I'd rather just go back to using classic forums. Everybody just go to the sites they want to go to interact with the type of content they want to interact with. Let's see, GMT. I'll fire up an instant of PHPBB on my NAS right now if I have to. Yeah, don't threaten me with a good time. One of the forums I used to visit a lot back in the day, well, other than the fact that I used to spend a lot of time on TrueAttack.com and period, but throughout a lot of high school, I spent time on Hyrule.net because I'm really into The Legend of Zelda. If you can't tell, the fact that I'm even wearing a Majora's Mask shirt right now. And I used to have a lot of friends over there at Hyrule.net, or the closest thing you can be to friends with people who you're never going to see the face of. You only know by username. And that was a good time. I logged onto it recently, too, just to see if the place was the same. It basically was. It's still active, too, but a lot of the people I knew have just moved on. I spent so much time on that site, I actually had a Gmail where the domain was to that site. It was an @myhyrule.net. But forums are the best, because forums are the opposite of social media, because social media feels like you're home. And I think that's also why everybody gets so defensive too, because it feels like people walked into your home. Especially, like, it's built for you to find the people you know in real life and stuff. And I think that's an inherent problem with the way social media works. A forum, on the other hand, it doesn't feel like everything's coming into your home. Going to a forum you know is more like Cheers, right? It's like going to a place that you know where everybody knows your name. And there's a certain level of, like, personal disconnect when you go to a forum as opposed to, like, social media where it feels like things are coming to you. And I think we were all just healthier with forums.
We were healthier with forums?
Yeah, than social media. I think forums were just healthier. As I was just saying, like, social media feels like you're home, right? Like, everything is coming to you, and that's why people get, like, really personally defensive. It's also why it's, like, very easy to create, like, echo chambers and stuff like that, and especially with the way the AIs now predictively give you things that you want to see, as opposed to forum, where you actually actively had to look out the conversation, like, search what you were looking for, and you still didn't know if it was going to be exactly what you were looking for. You just kind of participated with it anyway, because it was generally in that subject. And it was more like, instead of things coming to your home, it's like going to a pub or something, like Cheers, you know? You go there enough, everybody knows your name, but this isn't your place. You're coming here to socialize with other people, engage in conversations about specific things, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think you had a lot fewer, like, people just responding to shit that just popped up on their timeline randomly.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. You could just hop around various forums, and you could be somebody completely different on all of them.
Yeah. Well, I think I think it's just gotten too big.
Yeah.
I think that yeah, when it's like a forum where everybody's all together, and it's just crazy. It's just like we don't we're the entire human race is never just going to get along. So it's like with forums, you could self-segregate and get along with the people that you want to be with.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You
with
find your
Twitter,
little
it
cliques.
shoves everyone all together, and so there's always going to be ridiculous arguments because
Yeah.
you wouldn't
Oh, yeah.
normally associate with idiots who
Because
are
I remember
clapping
probably the
and
forum I
cheering
spent the
about.
most time on, as I was just saying, was Hyrule.net. And I remember there were people on that site that I did not get along with, but we didn't butt
Mhm.
heads because we knew we didn't get along with each other, so we generally just didn't interact directly with each other. Or if we found ourselves in the same thread, we'd kind of just be like, okay, we don't need to start shit. But then I had like the people
Yeah,
that I talked to all the frickin' time because that was just like the clique I was in on that site.
right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to get off Twitter. Get
Yeah,
in
yeah, for sure.
lines.
GMT says, so if I start a forum on my website, then I should put it on a Cheers subdomain? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Where everybody knows your name. Oi. Can we get a dot cheers? That should totally be like even just the main domain right there, like the end URL.
Yeah.
I know there's like a dot everything these days, so there's probably a dot cheers.
Yeah, I don't know if I thought there was a possibility at some point going to be a dot whatever you want
Yeah.
as a possible subdomain.
I think there's a
Because I
dot
know,
thanks. So if there's a dot thanks, there should be a dot cheers. They mean the same thing.
yeah. See all possible subdomains.
I mean, I think it's kind of boring that most people stick with .com. I'm like, yo, that's so old now.
Or actually, it's top level domains.
Yeah. We're going in the wrong direction there.
Yeah, exactly. Not subdomains, top level. Hey, there's a dot gay.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
There's a dot so. Coming soon. Dot makeup. Dot beauty. Dot skin.
Yeah. There's a dot for so many things. I know .io for things that are just straight up apps that run in browser is probably the most common thing that you see pop up these days.
Mm-hmm. Where? And they don't even make it easy. Oh, okay. To view the list. Here's the list. Let's see.
Local.
Let's go to. God, there's so many. That's crazy. There isn't a dot cheers. Dang.
Oh. Did you just control
what'd
that
you
for
say?
it real quick?
No, I just went down to the C's
Oh.
in the ICANN list. Did you say there's a dot hello?
I thought there was a dot hello. I didn't say it, but I heard of that being a possibility. Is there?
I don't see it. There's a dot help.
Is there a dot thanks? Because I figure like charities
thanks.
would probably use that. That was the one I thought there was.
No.
Okay. There should be. And like, if you were a charity, wouldn't you want your site to be blank dot thanks?
Yeah, you would think so.
How do you set these up, like, in the first place? Somebody's got to be able to do it. Like, usually a registrar would do it, right?
Well, yeah. What do you mean? Like add new ones to the
Yeah, yeah.
possibility of the list of all of them?
Yeah. Like, how would you go
don't know,
about
you'd
doing that?
You have to like petition ICANN, I guess.
Yeah. Like, if a
apparent-
registrar really wanted it, I'm pretty sure they would do it for them if they were big enough. That's probably how we got
Yeah.
most of them.
There's dot adult.
Yeah.
I think a while back. Let me see if it's still there. Yeah. A while back, I was thinking about setting up a sex toy website, and I ended it with dot toys.
Is there a dot outcast? Because if I want to make a website, that's probably where I want to go.
Now you also have to find. No, there's not a dot outcast. There's
Darn.
a dot origin.
Yeah, you also have to find a registrar that uses that too.
Yeah, because if you go to, GoDaddy, they'll give you a list that's a lot smaller than this list.
Yeah, because they only have so many
Oh.
that are accessible to them or that they use.
Yeah. So you'd have to find a registrar that does. Oh, there's a dot PlayStation? Seriously? Sony had something to do with that.
Yeah.
Now I want to see if there's a dot Xbox. There is a dot
Of
Xbox.
course.
Of course there is. There's not a dot thanks, but there's a dot Northwestern Mutual. Seriously? So basically, if you're a big company, you can apply.
Yeah, of course.
So it'd be a top level domain with your company name or brand. There's a dot Netflix. I imagine that not anyone could just register a dot Netflix domain.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But that's probably why a lot of these aren't available at all these places, because these large companies basically just lobbied for these things to exist.
Yeah. Now I want to see if there's a dot switch. Because if not, I'm calling shenanigans. Nope, there isn't.
That's because
There's a dot
Nintendo
swatch.
doesn't care.
There's a dot swatch, in case you have a swatch.
Who has a Swatch?
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
if anyone wants to see the full list of domains, let me see. Well, here I'll link to this ICANN site where there is a link that you can click on. GMT says never drunk register people. Or they got them locked down so no one takes their name and uses it. Yeah.
Well, they really
What
can't,
is a
though,
swatch?
because ICANN is the one that controls all this. So it's not like some random person can petition them to make .Netflix and then get to use it, because then the registrar has to have it too. Like, they have reasons why they do this, even if they don't use the .Netflix.
Yeah. What is a swatch? Oh my god.
A
You're not
fad.
old enough.
This is...
It's a brand of watch.
Yeah.
Swatch is a watch.
That's all you need to know. It's a fad.
I don't think there was anything. Was there anything special about them? I don't think so.
I don't remember. I mostly only know about it because of movies.
Yeah. There is not a Nintendo. I looked that up. I tried looking.
Because it's a Swiss watchmaker that was from the 1980s, and they still make stuff today. But it's like, man, I had one once, and it was like just this thin, plasticky thing. Like the watch was probably like that thin, right? It was the thinnest wristwatch you'll ever get, and I hated it. It was impossible to time, and they gave it to me as a kid. Like, I'd rather just have a digital watch. Can you give me a digital watch?
Yeah, there is a .city domain. So yes,
Yeah.
we could have cheers.cultoфraven.city. Why .city though?
Why is there not a .cult?
I looked it up. There isn't.
We need Raven.cult to be a thing.
I can't imagine why not.
As
Can't
in, I'm going to
possibly
petition
imagine.
I can. Get .cult to be a thing. Then we need to find a domain, like, registrar to actually sell it to us.
Yeah. It's a .family, but not a .famicom.
Because then you're like, well, which registrar is actually going to, like, let you have .cult? Because that would get them in hot water.
Exactly.
Right? Like, GoDaddy's not going to do it. HostGator's not going to do it either.
Right.
No,
Cult.
not
Well,
.cult.
that's different.
Yeah, .cult.
There's
We're not
.coffee.
horses here.
I want a .coffee domain. Sounds great. All right, what else is going on?
Honestly, not much. The news is pretty boring today. Apparently, somebody actually found the Space World demo for Zelda 64 before it was Ocarina of Time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know where they found it? They found it on
It's like-
one of those larger development cartridges that are like this big for F-Zero
Yeah,
X. It was on there.
And partially
Yeah.
overwritten.
Yeah, they didn't have everything.
Heard CZ was in talks for buying Colt. Like
Yeah.
Colt, like the beer or the football team,
Or the gun.
or the word. Can you buy a word?
I don't
Maybe it
know.
means the
I mean,
guns.
I guess if you bought a trademark, you'd be buying a word, right?
Yeah.
I do like Colts though. They're pretty good. If we're talking about the like revolver.
Yeah. I recently found out that the Colt that shot me was a 1911. It's not a Colt 45. I don't know. I don't know guns. It's a 45 caliber, right? It's still a 45 caliber. But I don't know. So, Ocarina of Time demo. And in this demo, you could turn into a fairy.
Yes, that looks almost exactly like Navi. But most of the fairies do. They made the glowy fairy orb and then they recolored them. Apparently, the Deku Tree was originally going to be a prison for the fairies, and you had to rescue Navi and the rest of them. And Link was going to have a lot more magic. Like, each of the medallions that ended up being what you get from the sages in the main game, like the actual released one, were going to have, like, spells attached to them. And the fairy being one of them.
And one lets you shoot fire arrows? Like, was that before they added the fire arrows?
Yeah. Well, it looks suspiciously like the fire arrow. But when you
Yeah.
fire the fire arrow, it's basically like they just added a single pixel line going through because you can't really see the arrow. So basically, I figure it's just a fireball that is the same animation as the fire that surrounds the arrow. You know?
Yeah. That's interesting. It's interesting how they had some ideas that I guess they were sort of on the way. They had partially programmed
Yeah.
and then changed. Huh. Pegasus boots. They were going to have Pegasus boots.
Yeah, that would have been cool. And they still kind of had the model that they were going to use for it. They basically just took the wing off and used the same thing for like the slippers, the hover boots.
Now,
Didn't
were there
do
hover
the same
boots in
thing, but
Ocarina?
they had it. Yeah, the hover boots were in
Were-
Ocarina.
Okay. Weren't there hover boots in Twilight Princess, or am I thinking of Ocarina of Time?
I'm trying to remember. You know, I've played like Twilight Princess once, so that's the one I know the least about. There were an Ocarina.
I guess
of Time.
Twilight.
Yeah.
I guess Twilight Princess only had the magnet boots or whatever, metal boots.
Yeah.
Not in
I
Twilight
think
Princess. Okay.
it's just Ocarina of Time.
Okay. Yeah, but they had like wings on them, so they kind of look like the Pegasus
Yeah,
boots.
they do have the wings.
Yeah.
They just added the, they've got like these two little nozzle-looking things in the front,
Hmm.
which I guess was supposed to be like the air they're pushing out or whatever. I don't know. But it's basically like, yeah, the Pegasus boots are still in the game. They just changed what they do.
There's not a dot robot. I just looked. So yeah, I think it would be difficult to do Pegasus boots,
In
at least
3D.
back then in 3D, because it would end up becoming like a Sonic game, right?
Or no, actually even worse, right?
Go
So,
too fast.
the way the world works is that there's nothing that's really, and this is why people who play blind runs of Ocarina of Time, like, I don't know how they do with the muscle memory there. But the controller is an octagonal game,
Mhm.
right? But the world doesn't have 8 directional movements. It lets you go anywhere between them. It's just different micro movements might orient you differently between those different 8 movements, right? So
Yeah.
if you like swung your sword and it tilted you just like a micro step to the side, and then you use the Pegasus boot, you might go off at an angle that you did not want to go off at, that you wouldn't have
Yeah.
otherwise if you didn't swing your sword, since the controller only lets you move in 8 directions.
Mhm.
And then the camera
Yeah, I don't
also
know.
screws you over too, because every time you Z target, that's what moves those micro movements as well.
Hmm.
It wouldn't be bad in combat though, because if you Z targeted and used it, as long as the person didn't move yet, you would just go straight into them, and that could be a charging move. Like if it was mostly a combat thing, that wouldn't be that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember, I guess with the Pegasus boots, you kind of held the button for a minute, and
Yeah,
then
you
you'd
charge.
shoot off with your sword out. So yeah.
So like in combat, that'd be great in Ocarina of Time. Like unless you're fighting, say, like a Wizrobe or a Lizopho or something that moves a lot. But if you're fighting something that typically stood still or stuck in a narrow path, and you had like a second to charge and then go off with them with the sword, that would be fine.
Hmm.
It would have been an interesting way to deal with the moblins in the what's it called, the Sacred Grove at the end of the Lost Woods, because instead of
Oh, yeah.
only using the hook shot to deal with them, or climbing over and avoiding them, you probably would have been able to charge through them just because the momentum that the Pegasus boots would have given you. Because they
Yeah.
kind of do that to you. They kind of charge at you.
Hmm. I remember Moblins in the Sacred Grove.
Yeah, I remember there's that maze at the end of the Lost Woods that gets you to the Forest Temple.
Yeah, and wasn't there just one guy like shooting shockwaves at you or something?
Yeah, but there's moblins walking around the maze.
Oh,
And then
okay.
there's the one at the end that does the shockwaves.
Oh, all right. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Yeah. That, despite not being my favorite Zelda game, is one of the ones that I have like a very acute memory for, because I've probably played through the game like 16 or 17 times.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not the game I've played through the most, though.
What would that be?
It'd probably be Super Mario Brothers 3, for sure.
No.
And then followed by that is probably Final Fantasy 4. Despite being a long game, I've probably beaten it like 22 times.
Oh
It's my
gosh.
favorite Final Fantasy.
So you're not allowed to comment when I finally get to it, because you'll just give everything away.
Yeah, sure.
Not allowed to comment on the game anyway. Yeah, camera movement. Mr. Squeaker said the one thing that gets him to abandon a game is the camera.
Oh yeah, the camera locking in Zelda gets really bad too.
Yeah, and I can't recommend Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, unfortunately.
But this is why the 2D
That's the one.
Zeldas are better than the 3D Zeldas. You know, don't at me.
Yeah. The one thing that I don't understand how they screwed it up so badly is the camera in Age of Calamity. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was even that bad in the original Hyrule Warriors.
No. And that's even just coming from a viewer's perspective of Age of Calamity, because I still haven't played it, but I have played through the original Hyrule Warriors, and I didn't feel there was many camera problems at all.
Yeah.
But, so,
I mean,
the thing is, the original Hyrule Warriors controlled a lot more like a traditional Musou game, or the Warrior series. And they kind of fine-tuned Age of Calamity to work more like Breath of the Wild, just with those Musou mechanics. So that's probably why you started getting camera problems.
mm-hmm.
Breath of the Wild really didn't have that much camera problems, though. And one of the things I like about the game is, and this is something Ego Raptor pointed out in the series Sequelitis, and I agree with him, the 3D Zelda games almost separate exploration from combat, right? Especially with the way the camera lock is. It's like the world even kind of almost goes dark around you with the widescreen in those older games. And it's like, I was exploring, now I'm in combat. Which feels a lot more like an RPG in that sense, because in like a older RPG with like random encounters, you were traveling, now you're in combat. But Zelda was always an exception to that, even as far as like action RPGs go, because exploration and combat were the same thing. There was no separation with the top-down Zelda games. Breath of the Wild, even though I complain about the combat in it for certain reasons, did a good job of when you enter combat, it doesn't feel like you left exploration. You know, they're part of the same thing. It doesn't feel like you're re-entering exploration now that you killed the person and you're out of combat again.
Yeah.
And the mini-map does a good job, too, because otherwise I do feel like I would get lost if I kept fighting things over and over and the camera kept having to turn towards what I was fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very seamless.
Which I can't
Hey, did you see this
time.
Yeah. Did you see this Mario 35th anniversary pin set?
No, is it not like a My Nintendo reward?
Apparently.
Oh,
That's
dang,
cool.
I just lost my mouse. I hate it when OBS does that.
Oh. But you have to like play in the Splatfest and Splatoon 2 and purchase games and stuff like that.
I'm not about that. I'm not about that life
I
at all.
thought it was going to be one of those things where you just go to various websites and click things. Those are the best because you just take a few minutes and you get a bunch of coins and you can get stuff.
Okay, that was irrationally hard. So I was
What?
trying to tab. I want to sign into my Nintendo, and I'm trying to tab through, but there's no indicator when you're on the join up or sign in buttons on my Nintendo's homepage, because I can't see my mouse right now. So I had to tab just past it to where I was on the YouTube video, and then shift tab back to the sign in. Because it doesn't highlight the button or anything. It's just like, best guess, we expect your mouse to always be working and that OBS isn't taking up all your video memory.
Mm-hmm. Oh, see, I already missed them. Had to sign up for the Splatoon 2 Splatfest online challenge. I didn't think to do that. Dang it. Well, it might not be. It might still be possible to get a pin set. A commemorative Mario anniversary pin set.
Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to sign into this right now. I was going to, but then they gave me a caption. Like, there's no way I can do this dumb picture caption without my mouse.
Timothy says I'm echoing.
Are you echoing? You
Is
should.
that on your end or something?
Yeah, it's probably on my end, but it shouldn't be, because you're not echoing in my ear.
I don't hear an echo.
Yeah. but who knows?
We'll have to check that out later.
Sometimes you echo in the playback. I don't know what's causing that, but it just happens.
Maybe turn down your volume. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you've got headphones on, so I don't understand.
I do have headphones on. And I even have a internal equalizer where I balance all of this stuff, and sometimes OBS still causes you to echo for some reason. I don't know.
Strange.
Yeah.
Let me just make
I
sure
think it's
that
some
we're
weird
correct.
thing with Discord.
Yeah, blame Discord. Let me see. There we go. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. No, I don't think it's anything on your end. It has to be something through my end and OBS and Discord, because there's no like double sound or echo in my ear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just made sure the device was set to my headphones. Don't know if that'll make any difference, but whatever. GMT says, since it cost me like £1, I now have GameMotron.uk for a year.
Nice.
That's cool. Can I go to that website? I doubt there's anything on there. Oh, darn, it didn't work. Nothing yet. What else was I going to talk about? What were we going to talk about?
I don't know. That was like talking about the differences between the Space World demo and stuff. That was the last thing I had. And it's been pretty dumb for news, because as it's been getting with stuff, especially in the video game world, unless you've got stuff from outside of that we could talk about, everything's just like, look at this thing that's being ported, or like all the news is so just fucking stupid.
Yeah, they added Glow Squid to Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yippee. I can't believe that won over the Moo Bloom. I voted for the Moo Bloom.
Hey, my mouse is back.
Pickle says, LOL nerds.
Yeah. Hello.
Did your mouse disappear?
Yeah, I said that like, I don't know, 4 minutes ago my mouse disappeared. It was while I was having trouble. I didn't log into my Nintendo because I can't do a picture capture without my mouse.
Yeah, I've got some weird things. You know, the only time I've had an issue with where my mouse cursor disappears is with OBS. Like the original OBS. Not even like the Streamlabs. Streamlabs OBS doesn't seem to do that.
Yeah, well, I use classic OBS. I don't use Streamlabs.
Yeah, it's only classic OBS that does that for me.
It's a video memory thing. I know that's what causes it. It doesn't even have to take up all of your video memory. It just somehow screws up your mouse through video memory.
Yeah, I don't know. That happens all the time when I'm trying to do, producing for Scribbattle. My mouse disappears all the time.
OBS Classic for that?
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, here's news that we talked about between us. I don't think we've talked about this outside of just each other, which was that GOG was having an RPG sale.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of good games on there, too.
Yeah, it looks like they still are. Like 75% off Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition.
Yeah.
I
do like Neverwinter Nights. I kind of want to get it on the Switch, though, because they have Enhanced Edition on the Switch.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. I think it's been on my wish list for a while. I don't know, because you know what they need to do. If they don't, is they need to make it a work multiplayer. And I think
Yeah,
that was
that
like
would
the
be cool.
biggest, because you know I've played Neverwinter Nights. It's a fun game, you know, but you get tired of a game like that being single player after your like 20th run for that.
Hmm. There's
And of course,
also a sale. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there is the Neverwinter MMO, which I guess solves that problem, but it's not as good. I've watched Buck play it, and it's like it feels a lot like Knights. Just watching you play, it's not as good. Plus, Knights I think was based off of my favorite D&D model, which is 3.5, while frickin' the new one's based off of 5th edition, and I'm not as big of a fan of 5th edition.
Well, there's also a sale, it looks like, on GOG of all the Leisure Suit Larry games.
That's the name I haven't heard in a long time.
That's, we talk about point and click adventure games. That one's often left out.
Yeah.
It's a huge ongoing series. When was the last one that they did? Here's one that was released in 2018. And it's on sale for 75% off.
No. There was local multiplayer in that game. I don't know if the Enhanced Edition has online multiplayer, is what I'm saying. And I've only ever gotten to play Neverwinter single player because my brothers weren't interested in that game.
TMT says, does the Switch have anything like Stream Link? What is Stream Link?
There's Steam Link, which is like the
Steam Link.
like little cloud box that you can plug into the TV. It pulls off your computer or whatever.
Really?
No, the Switch doesn't do anything like that.
What?
You're not familiar with Steam Link?
No, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, it basically
I mean,
turns Steam into like a console in a way.
But that's what the Switch has built in.
Yeah, that's what the Switch is.
Yeah. Is she joking?
Like the Switch is your console. If you want, you can buy multiple docks to leave in different rooms of your house, and then you just pick up your Switch and put it in the other room without having to rewire everything.
Okay.
Which I know some people do that.
Yeah.
They have more than one dock.
I have more than one dock because when somebody stole my Switch, they left me my dock. And even the cords that plug it in, so I don't know how they're going to charge the Switch that they stole, but...
Yeah, we could do something like that sometime. We can try like a... basically, we could create a LAN over the internet, which I used to use... What was that? That service I used before they kind of like went full pay to use. They start with an H. I'm trying to remember. But basically, you could create virtual LAN networks, right? It had some Japanese sounding name. I can't remember.
Neverwinter Nights isn't multiplayer?
No, it is. I don't know. Like, I haven't played Enhanced Edition. I was saying, if they haven't done it, Enhanced Edition needs online multiplayer.
It says co-op multiplayer.
It doesn't have online? Because the original was just couch co-op, because it was before online stuff was a thing.
Yeah, it says under Neverwinter Nights, restored multiplayer, completely rebuilt multiplayer system, makes it easy to find online persistent worlds and game with friends.
That's all I wanted from the game. That's fine. You know what? I'll go get the Enhanced Edition when I can. I wanted to get it anyway. I've just been pushing it back. It's like, if I have to play this thing by myself because I can't get somebody locally to play it with me. Every run I've done in that game, I've done by myself.
Yeah. It's $5 on GOG.
Yeah.
And what is Dark Dreams of Fury? Is that a DLC?
I think it's an expansion, yeah. Which would just be DLC in the modern day. Because, we remember, DLC wasn't always a thing.
Yeah.
You had to get expansion packs. Ooh, boy, wasn't that fun.
Oh, yes, okay, so it says in order to play this, you have to have the Enhanced Edition. Well, so the DLC or whatever, Dark Dreams of Fury is $3 or $2.50.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what that gives you, but...
Here's another game we could do like a core run of that was really fun and very D&D like is Dungeon Siege. Like any of the classic was specifically Dungeon Siege 2 was fun.
Oh, I feel like that was that not on this list? I'm looking at the GOG. I feel like I saw Dungeon Siege.
I have all 3 Dungeon Siege games on Steam. They're usually on sale on Steam as well.
Yeah.
But I know it's GOG is just doing a whole RPG thing. That's why all that stuff is on sale right now.
Yeah, I feel like it was here. I should just search.
My problem is if we were to play them on different platforms, we probably would need some type of virtual LAN to hook up, because I don't know if these platforms let you link directly with each other otherwise.
Yeah, here we go. Dungeon Siege Collection, $5. $5 for 1, 2, 3, and the Treasures of the Sun add-on. So, the only reason that I bought Dungeon Siege, I don't know which version. Maybe 1? Maybe the original? Was because, I think I've told you this, that there was an Ultima 5 remake, fan project.
Oh, that was like a mod for Dungeon Siege, basically. Yeah, you could use it as a base.
It's Ultima 5 Lazarus.
Yeah.
But you had to have Dungeon Siege in order to play it.
That was the name of it. I sorry, which you told me about this before. I just remembered the name of the virtual LAN, and actually before I tabbed over, Gameotron found it too. Hamachi by LogMeIn. LogMeIn Hamachi. You can still use Hamachi for free up to like 5 people, but if you want to hook up more than 5 people to the virtual LAN, you have to be paying for it. You used to be able to have like up to 20 people for free, but they went with a premium service. I think probably because too many people were using the service. Yeah.
Well, there's a Dungeon Siege 3 demo on Steam, but the others are not on sale, unfortunately.
Yeah, not right now. But they usually go on periodic sales. I believe, I don't know who owns the small company, but I think somehow Dungeon Siege ended up under Square's umbrella over the years, because Square owns so many companies now that usually I picked it up on a Square sale.
Yeah, it looks like they're the current publisher.
Yeah.
Originally developed by Obsidian Entertainment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Lewisburg Top Commenter says, man, you guys are getting views. If you say so, I'm not going to object to any views. Yeah, but Dungeon Siege is just a really fun game. I wouldn't even mind playing through the Ultima mod, because I have the original Dungeon Siege. That'd probably be fun to do sometime.
Yeah, I just have too many other things on my plate.
Same.
Apparently now I've been roped into playing in an Ark world with Rick Viper.
Yeah. Makes me glad I didn't buy Ark when it was on sale.
Is this the case? I'm now required to play with Rick?
I guess. I think that is how the world ends up working, right?
Problem is, I have no idea. I've only played the game one time for, well, almost 6 hours, but still. And I don't understand how it works yet, so I don't even know how to get into his world, if he's created one, or if we're going to start our own, or what, a new one.
Yeah, I don't know how that works either. I've never played Ark. I've only watched people play it. I know a bit about the game because of that, but that's about it.
Yeah, I've only beat dinosaurs with a stick. I've not actually tried to ride one. And I have to say, beating dinosaurs with a stick has how should I put this? Varying results.
Yeah.
Rick says I'm not required. Yes, I am. Don't lie, Rick. I'm required. Requested and required.
Well, see, I see the problem why you get an echo, and I think it's because Discord took over my microphone. It's quieter, but when you talk, I do see my microphone go up, even if I'm not talking.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Darn you, Discord. I don't know why you're doing that. Because if Discord takes over my microphone, it doesn't matter what other settings I change. It'll still go through. I need to figure out why Discord does that.
Yeah, how is your microphone picking up my voice?
I don't know. It shouldn't. Because I do have an audio injection cable, but it's not going through the feed of the audio injection cable. It's going through my actual microphone feed. Because it would show up on the other thing. The audio ejection cable is where the music is coming through. And if you were coming through that, I'm like, okay, that would make sense to me. Some setting got changed. But it's coming through my microphone feed. Because Discord is such a wacky program sometimes.
That's weird. Mr. Squeaker says, I had a turtle named Woodman, Slayer of Sharks. I used him to move lumber, but he took out a couple sharks one day. Rick, relax. I want to play Ark with you. I'm just joking, man. I want to play Ark with you. I just don't know how, and I don't know when. So you need to help me out. You need to tell me what to do.
I've just been joking. Playing more Phantasy Star again.
More Phantasy Star, cool.
Yeah, Phantasy Star Online too. It's a fun game. Yeah. And you know what made it even more enjoyable for me is just recently I unlocked a cocktail bunny outfit for my character. So it's like, I get to see that ass all the time while I'm running around.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been watching Tank Ferret play Skyrim, and he's got some interesting mods.
Yeah. You said that. At least he's got mods. But why is everybody back to playing Skyrim again?
I don't know. I feel like I should start playing Skyrim again.
Oh, it makes me want to not play Skyrim again.
Yeah, but he definitely has some jiggle physics going on in one of his mods. Yeah. I don't recall. In fact, he told me what the name of that mod was because I asked. I don't remember if I wrote it down or not. He did say.
I'm sure it's.
Because I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I was like, I don't think I remember that being in the vanilla base game. And apparently I was right. But I don't remember. No, I didn't. I don't think I wrote it down. So, we're only about halfway through and I don't know what else to talk about.
I know. It's just been such a slow week. Everyone comes back to Skyrim eventually, not sure why. I don't know about you, I'd rather play like Morrowind or Oblivion, to be honest. I think those games are way more fun than Skyrim.
Yeah. Problem is, I didn't get into those when they first came out, so I tried playing one of them, Morrowind, I think, and I just couldn't get into it. It was like, this graphic is terrible. I don't care about the story. I don't know anything about this, and it's hard to get into.
Yeah, like Morrowind, I think, at least from like an RPG standpoint, is the best game out of them. But if you don't have a nostalgia for it, it's hard to get into. Oblivion, I think, is better because while Oblivion is a little more polygony, honestly, I don't think Skyrim looks much better than it. I don't think Skyrim looks like that good of a game, even the Enhanced Edition, unless you use mods to make it look better. And then, there are mods that make Oblivion look better, too.
Yeah, is the one on Switch, is that the Enhanced Edition?
Yeah. It's the special edition or whatever.
Okay.
But even then, I don't think that looks that good. You still need mods to... Yeah. But they do have some good mods. You can get mods that make like the water look really good and the trees, they don't look like crap and stuff like that.
I haven't played it in a while, but I don't remember. Yeah. I don't remember there being any issues for me, but I was playing it for the first time, so.
Yeah. Like,
Oh,
I remember
really?
playing Skyrim for the first time and like, why does this look like a last generation game? But it's
Mhm.
new. Well, I didn't play it brand new. I played it like a year or so after it was out, but he's like, it's still basically a modern generational game, but it looks like it was made on a last generation console.
What, Skyrim?
Yeah, yeah, when it was closer to being newer.
Really? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. And it still
I
had
think
that
it looks
problem where,
fine.
like, at least the original version, I think Special Edition took it, where they got the crease in the middle of the face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's,
Yeah, he says the same thing. You can literally see the seam in their face. Travis says. He's played a lot of that game too, like many
yeah.
hours on it, and a lot of the time of playing it because I'd be sitting on the couch next to him. It was just both of us shit talking this game while he's playing it, just hours of it. There was a problem
Yeah.
with the PlayStation specifically because PlayStation limits how big patches could be back in like the PlayStation 3 days, right? PlayStation 4 fixed it with the way their network works, but PlayStation 3 they limited how big patches could be. And
Mhm.
there after one of the updates, they basically broke water that anytime you went to the water there was a chance that the game would like crash and maybe even in some cases potentially corrupt your save file. And it was awful because there were new stuff that involved you having to go into water. And the only way to get rid of this problem was to buy the, was it the Dawn Guard or whatever it's called, the DLC at the time that came out. And the patch had to be put into it for PlayStation because it was bigger than what Sony would let patches be.
The
And this is
patch
what
had
you
to
get
be
for
put into it? Oh.
Yeah, like you could.
Into.
The DLC didn't have a size limit, but patches did. So the patch to fix the
I
water
see.
had to be put into the DLC data.
I see.
Yeah, this is why you play these games on computer.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to say, Mr. Squeakers. I never really paid that close attention to the faces. I was just kind of playing the game, but yeah, I imagine nowadays for however old game it is now, 9 years, 10 years, I don't know.
Oh, I don't even remember when it came out. Let me see when Skyrim came out. I need to re-download Hamachi when I think about it. Skyrim came out in 2011, so yeah, it's about a decade.
10 years.
Yeah, just a little under.
Wow.
It's not 10 years yet. In November it will be because it was it was being released so you could get it around the holiday season. But yeah, so it's at 9 going on 10. Yeah.
Interesting. How much time was there between Skyrim and the previous Elder Scrolls game?
Let's see. Not much, right? Because one of the big complaints is that there was almost no time between like Morrowind and Oblivion and Skyrim, and then Skyrim's just been around for a decade.
Well, okay, so Oblivion came out 5 years before that.
Yeah, so like a console
I mean,
generation.
5 years is should be decent time. Should be a decent amount of time to make improvements. But then Morrowind was 4 years before that.
Yeah. So it wasn't even like a whole console generation, unless it happened to sit like really close to whenever they jumped over.
He says that the patch corrected it, but in order for the patch to be actually effective, I had to uninstall the game data entirely, then re-download it, the DLC and patches.
Which, without cloud saves... well, no, I think PlayStation did allow you to keep your save on their archive, so you didn't have to lose it. But there's a good chance that you were probably just going to lose your save data on the PlayStation 3.
So when is Elder Scrolls 6 coming out?
I don't know. How many more devices can we squeeze Skyrim on? Because all we know about Elder Scrolls 6 is a PNG with the logo that they aired at like E3, and we haven't heard anything about it since. Not even, what was it? This, I think it was the E3 before this one too. It wasn't even the last one. We pretty much know as much about Elder Scrolls 6 as we know about Metroid Prime 4 at this point in time. I think actually even less. Even less, because at least we know they had to restart Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah. Well, apparently, there's some rumors about it.
Yeah.
Some unconfirmed stuff that we don't actually know, but is enough for someone on PC Gamer to write an article about.
That's a very low bar for the amount of information you need for PC Gamer to write about it.
That's right. Well, the one thing they say is Elder Scrolls 6 is confirmed.
Yeah. That's all we know. Don't even know the title.
Release date, probably sometime this decade. So they've got 9 years to go. Probably within the next 9 years.
I mean, we've had Skyrim for a decade now, so I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
They are doing that, Mr. Squeakers. That I know they said they were going to do is they were going to put Shirley Curry, the like 80-year-old lady. She was in her 70s, but if she's still alive, she'd be like 80 now, I think. Into Elder Scrolls 6. Have you heard of Shirley Curry? Marsupial?
Have I heard of what?
Shirley Curry.
No.
She is this elderly grandma who plays Skyrim. Like she she records it. She might live stream now, I don't know. I haven't followed in a while. I don't even know if she's still alive. But she's this like really popular, in her 70s year old lady that just like plays Skyrim, but she like plays it the way you'd expect a grandma to. So she like stops and she looks at all the architecture. She looks at the flowers. If there's like portraits on, she's still posting videos. It's good to hear that she's alive. But she'll like look at the portrait. She'll examine like the fruits on the tables. The way like if you had taken your grandma on a vacation somewhere to like a theme park or whatever, instead of like being excited for the ride, she'd be sitting there and be like, "Oh, look at the nice little details that they put on the wall here."
Yeah.
And you know, it's honestly just the most wholesome and heartwarming experience to watch her play those games.
Well, now is she or is she not? Because GMT said she had to stop.
Did she? Why'd she have to stop? Hopefully, it's not because of health issues, and hopefully, it's not because of like a copyright strike. If they're going to put her in the game, you think like this is really good advertisement. There's a market for people to play this game that we didn't even know existed before this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this article is such a joke. Basically, it says, in 2020, Pete Hines has basically said it's going to be years from now. The Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out. Am I still there?
Yeah, you're here. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
2020 was a horrific blur.
I'm just trying to figure out what years from now even means, because, you know, we had 4, then 5, then 6. After passing year 7 of Skyrim, I'm like, are we ever going to get another game? I see it incrementally going up, but are we ever going to get another game? Now we're passing through year 10.
Well, I'm guessing, they've been concentrating on getting, Skyrim on everything.
Yeah.
As GMT said, apparently they're going to be releasing it on a TI-82 calculator.
Yeah, you can already play it on like Alexa and stuff like that. So
can't you play it on pregnancy tests now?
I think it was Doom.
Oh, that was Doom, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, they confirmed that production
So,
hasn't even started yet. They didn't even need to confirm that. I assume production hasn't even started yet.
production on what?
Elder Scrolls 6. The currently still
presumably.
unnamed Elder Scrolls.
Presumably they're working on it, but I'm guessing that when they teased it at E3 2019, they had like just barely started. So it'll
I'm
probably be
assuming that
5 years.
production on the game itself hasn't started yet, and this is why.
Oh,
Because it took so long for them to get started on it that a new generation of console comes out. And one thing they tend to do every time there's a new generation of console is take the same engine that they've been using forever and figure out the incremental improvements that are necessary to get this to basically be a new engine on the new generation. Right? So they already have, I think, the games ported for the next generation, that the older ones that they want people to still be able to play. But I think they're in the middle of tweaking the engine like they do every single time.
yeah. So you think they're just working on the engine and maybe
Yeah.
some game design stuff?
That's what I would assume, because they do it every single except for last generation. No, they did they did retweak the engine because there was a new Fallout, and if you dig into it, you can see incremental changes from Skyrim to Fallout 4.
Okay, so yeah, and apparently in an interview, Todd Howard referred to a major engine rewrite being
Yeah, okay.
worked on for Starfield.
Yeah, they do it every generation. Like, it's nice to get confirmation, but you could basically assume it because there's a pattern that's been made by now.
Yeah. So Bethesda's next big project is Starfield, and Elder Scrolls 6 won't be until years after that comes out. So
Yeah. Elder Scrolls 6, the eternal conflict of development. That's a good title,
Yeah,
Mr. Sweakers.
You're right, though. Shirley Curry will be an NPC in Elder Scrolls 6. Probably after she's dead.
Yeah, probably. Because I don't think that game's going to come out till after she's dead.
Exactly. Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be the Duke Nukem Forever. Did that ever come out?
Yeah, it took 10 years. And it was underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I actually know the voice actor for Duke Nukem. Not very well, but I know him.
John Dillard says, "Hello, fellow youths. Surprising how accurate Game Dev Simulator is. I've seen that. I've seen people playing that. Hey, and Eagle's here too. Finally, we got the whole gang together.
Yeah.
We just need Pope Raven, and we'll be all set.
I'm honestly not surprised that Eagle showed up and immediately started talking about the Shadow.
Eagle, did you hear that there's a sale on Leisure Suit Larry games right now? Thought you might be interested.
Now, we've talked about this before. I think if they're doing major engine overhaul and rewrites, that they should really just bring in the id team, because they seem to be a lot better at engine creation and updating than the main Bethesda team is.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem to do a good job. So what order do you think these are going to come out? Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4, Elder Scrolls 6. Do you think they'll come out in that order?
The Breath of the Wild 2, I think, is definitely going to come out before either of the other two. I think it's a toss-up between Elder Scrolls 6 and Metroid Prime 4. I might even actually lean more in Elder Scrolls 6 coming out before Metroid Prime 4. Like,
You think?
I know we at least know that they restarted and are working on Metroid Prime 4, but Nintendo really doesn't give that, like, a shit about the Metroid Prime series. So they're probably working with, like, minimal resources over there.
But it's Retro Studios, right?
Yeah, who's a great team. and could probably do wonderful with minimal resources, but they're probably not being like given everything, like every hand they could use to get this game out faster.
Yeah, because I guess Nintendo does that. They'll help out their third-party studios,
Yeah.
or maybe call it almost like second-party studios.
Yeah, Retroid's pretty much basically a second party studio.
Yeah. Well, I wish they would. I wish they'd hurry up with that. Although I don't know why. I didn't like Metroid Prime 1, 2, or 3, so I actually wish that they'd come out with Samus Returns for Switch. I wish they'd port that to Switch. I'd buy it again. I played through it a dozen times at least on the 3DS.
Yeah.
I'd love to play through it on Switch.
The reason I want Metroid Prime 4 is I actually do like the Metroid Prime series, but I wanted to play on a controller. Well, personally, I would prefer to play it with mouse and keyboard because it's the best way to play a first-person shooter. But I want to play it on a controller that actually has a proper second analog stick, or at least makes use of it, because you've played Metroid Prime on the GameCube. It does not make proper use of the C-stick. It controls horribly as far as first-person shooters go.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever played it on the GameCube. I played it on the Wii,
Okay.
the re-release. So, I mean, they did a good job with the re-release.
Yeah. No, the re-release is great. But at this point, too, it's why Metroid Prime Hunters is my favorite. Because as far as controlling goes, as long as you were smart and looked into the options and found out that you could control it with buttons only, even using two essentially D-pads to control, it had better camera controls than any of the other games in the Metroid Prime series up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's on the Switch, though, the Switch has two proper joysticks, and they're actually going to make full use of the two proper joysticks this time.
Yeah. Mr. Squeaker says it was very clunky. Which one?
All of them.
All the Metroid Primes?
Yeah.
See, they should just stick with the 2D Metroids and come out with them more often. I mean, hell, I'd love to see a remake of Fusion, even.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Dillard says he was zoning out as his kid repeatedly hit him in the head and face with a wiffle ball bat. Then he realized he was playing a Cross Comics After Dark simulator.
Yeah, that's probably how it feels sometimes.
What is this Resident Evil Village?
So instead of coming out with the
that
next Resident Evil game, like the next number game, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do Resident Evil Village instead." And I don't know much about it yet, but that already sounds like a bad idea.
What is it? I see there's like a giant woman that everyone seems to love.
Like I said, I don't know much about it yet. I know it's a bad idea to do that instead of, say, Resident Evil 8.
So is it just another Resident Evil game?
I think
they just decided not to put a number on? Oh, okay.
Because they're always doing, like, side games. From what I could tell, from what I've seen, it strikes me more as a Silent Hill game than a Resident Evil game. Silent Hill, but skinned with Resident Evil themes and stuff. And but I'd rather just play a Silent Hill game then.
Why would it have... This article is talking about a Battle Royale mode? What? Why does everything have to have a Battle Royale mode?
I don't know.
That seems contrary
it's the
to...
flavor of the decade, I guess.
It's ridiculous.
I don't really like Battle Royale too much. Like, if you do it interesting, it's fun, but it's kind of just like a weird variant of King of the Hill. But instead of like holding the hill for the longest, it's like, oh, well, the hill's going to get shorter and shorter, and if you get off of it, you die.
Yeah. That doesn't seem to make sense for a Resident Evil game. Well, see, now this GameSpot is calling it Resident Evil 8 Village.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Resident Evil 8, but they're not calling it Resident Evil 8 in case it's not popular, so they could still use the word Resident Evil 8 on something else.
In case it's not popular.
Yeah, it's like, no, it was just Village. We still have 8 coming.
Oh, Dillard says, Metal, please ask your co-host what is the most accurate game and system for a shooting game with a gun controller?
Okay, we'll ask you, what is the most accurate game and system for a shooting game with a gun controller? Because I'd actually probably say the Wii is the most accurate system for a gun controller. Yeah.
Exactly what I was going to say. I was thinking, at first I was thinking Super Scope? No, probably not. Probably the Wii, yeah.
A Wii with a functioning sensor bar.
Yeah,
with
and
a controller that has motion control plus.
Yeah, and you can get like a little controller, like a gun-shaped thing.
Yeah, it's almost like the Super Scope. You just put the Wiimote and the nunchuck in there.
Yeah. Travis said, so far it's looking like a Romanian village starring Ethan and Chris, and the zombies look like werewolves, and the big woman seems to be a vampire-like thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, isn't Battle Royale just free-for-all, but with one life and extra bells and whistles? Kind of. It's like King of the Hill and free-for-all mixed together, and the hill just keeps getting like a smaller location, and yeah, you only have the one life. It is kind of a unique mode, to a degree. It's been around for a while now. I mean, I think what was the first Battle Royale was a mod of... what was the game? Rust? I think was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was a mod of Rust. And then you got H1N1. And then you started getting all of these different, like, games that were made specifically to be Battle Royales, like PUBG and Fortnite and stuff, and I don't know. I could see something like Fortnite maybe having long-term viability as a game just because of the support it gets and the community around it. Kind of like I see League of Legends having long-term community. But to me, it feels as much of a fad for other people to jump on it as MOBAs were. Right? You're going to get the one game that holds through, but it may not be worth just jumping on the fad because that game is popular right now.
Yeah. So I was going to say, because John also asked about a game, I was going to say Link's crossbow training.
Yeah, that's a fair one. There's a lot of really good gunning games on the Wii, though.
Yeah. Although GMT, I disagree. She says the PS3 with the camera wipes the floor with the Wii.
Yeah, I disagree too. But it also depends on game to game. There are some games with the camera that work remarkably well because of the developers that worked on it and it's optimized and stuff. A lot of the games with the camera work pretty bad. So it's not like a blanket statement. There's some really, really good ones. Mm-hmm. But there's also mostly really, really bad ones.
I don't understand how... So GMT says downside, it looks like a glowing sex toy. I don't understand how that works. Was it like the Wii? Did you point it at the screen?
No. So it's more like motion capture, actually. So instead of a sensor bar with infrared lights and stuff, right, which is how the thing worked at the Wii, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was the camera would capture that glowing ball, so it's like mocap. That's why it had that dumb glowing ball at the front. And they would glow different colors so the camera could tell, oh, right now we have blue associated with player 1, red is associated with player 2. And you could... This is why the thing sucked. You basically had to make sure that there were no colored lights in your background that were captured by the camera, right? If you had like white or yellow lights that were above the camera's viewpoint, you were fine. If you had colored lights like red, blue, green, or whatever that they were supposed to be picking up behind you, it would completely screw over the sensor for the camera because of how it was meant to work.
So you couldn't really aim at the screen, could you?
You can, and it was actually pretty fine-tuned. Like I said, some games were better than others, depending who was developing. But as long as you're within the field of view of the camera, it could tell where the ball was lined up at the screen. So as long as the ball is lined up in the right position, you can even hold it upright and be like looking at it like this and use it like sights, as if you were like holding a gun instead of like pointing forward like the Wiimote. And that'd be fine, as long as the ball was in the line with the screen.
See, that's dumb.
It is dumb.
So you'd have to hold it and like go up like this.
Yeah, but you could hold it in like any angle. It was just tracking the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, with the Wii controller,
you can actually point. Yeah.
Yeah. You could actually point to the screen. Sorry, I'm disappearing
It just
into my
disappeared
background.
into your totally real background.
I can hold it like this and point anywhere on the screen,
Yeah, you can
and I don't
angle
have to
it.
move it around.
I think overall the Wii, it was better.
I could
on
go like
average.
this.
It was a lot easier for people to develop well-functioning games for the Wii. Though there were a lot of trash games on the Wii too. There was a lot of junkware.
It seems dumb that I would have to like go like this in order to aim. Like instead of just
you could
aim.
go like that. You could hold it forward just as long as the ball lined up with what you were doing. Like, there was no precise aiming. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just aim where you want to aim. That seems better.
House of the Dead was
wrong.
pretty good. But you know what? You could play the same House of the Dead game on the Wii. And it worked pretty much exactly the same.
Interesting.
So I would still say, the Wii was the best for rail shooters. Or any game that you would actually use a gun controller for shooting.
Yeah.
But there are a few spectacular ones with the PlayStation's camera. It just depended if the developer was really good at it or not.
Mm-hmm. What's John? We told you. We said linked crossbow training. That's your answer.
And the Wii has the benefit that you actually don't need the sensor bar. Right? So, let's say your peripheral goes out, the camera's dead, or the sensor bar is dead on each of these systems, right? You could literally just put two candles about eye distance apart behind or in front of your TV, and then the Wii still works perfectly.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
My only problem, I got this third party Wiimote. I don't think I can get it to connect. I haven't been able to get it to connect to my computer. So I can't play on the Dolphin, unfortunately.
Huh.
That sucks. But I'll have to try it with my Wii U and make sure it works there. Otherwise I'll return it, I guess. But anyway. My wife wants to shoot deer and zombies and time bandits.
Yeah. They've got all of those. Cabela's on the Wii was pretty good too. You can use that for classic deer hunting games.
You get a Wii U.
Zombie hunting games, bandit hunting games. Was there actually? I don't think Time Crisis was on Wii, was it? Let me look.
I have no idea. No idea. I'm gonna post stickers to DLive. Anyway.
Oh, you can play the classics. They had Time Crisis 1, 2, and 3 on Wii. There just wasn't any of the newer ones.
You could also get, Metroid, the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii, and
That works really well.
shoot space pirates. I don't know about deer and zombies. I have heard that Zombie U for the Wii U is really good.
Yeah. Well, we already mentioned there's a House of the Dead on the Wii, which lets you kill zombies. And there's plenty of hunting games on the Wii, too. The thing about going back to the Wii for stuff like that is it has a really big library that you can pick from. Very cheaply, too. You could go to, like, a Game Over or any retro video game store, and a lot of these discs were so readily available that you can buy them on the cheap. They don't like retain their value or anything. Overproduced.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's kind of fallen out of favor. I mean, there aren't, with modern game systems, they just don't do the motion controls anymore, do they?
Well, this one does. You just have to find somebody who wants to program for it.
Yeah, but not like a shooting game.
Yeah, you could though, right? Because like this one has the infrared tracker on there, which you could use both of them. It would just use this one for the aiming. If you wanted like dual wield, you couldn't really do it separately. I think maybe you can, because I know 1-2 switch would engage with both of them, but a lot of that was mostly just timing things. But you they've got triggers, and you could do shooting games. Just nobody wants to. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So Wii or Wii U? I would say Wii. That would be.
I'll be interested to see. You would say Wii? Yeah, but a Wii U can do everything. The Wii just has a bigger library. Yeah, but the Wii U can play Wii games.
It can. It can use all the peripherals. I mean, if you want to buy a Wii U, I'm just saying you're going to end up playing it as a Wii.
True.
Yeah.
But you can get them pretty cheap online now. Nowadays, probably on eBay or something.
Yeah, yeah. The Wii is also more hackable for sure. I had a friend. We went to a party because Pitaya, he's been in this program a lot. He used to host like gaming parties and stuff like that, where we'd go over, we'd play fighting games and party games and stuff like that. There'd be up to like 20 people in his house or whatever. And it wasn't at his, it was at a neighbor, and they would go back and forth hosting the parties. But somebody brought their Wii, and it had like just seasons of anime downloaded on it, and he just plugged it into their TV and started playing like Yu Yu Hakusho on the TV screen.
Mm-hmm.
What's the whole thing going to set you back for this system, the game, 2 controllers and 2 guns?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the price is. They vary too much now. But I mean, if you look, you could probably get all of that for under $200. Maybe even under $100 if you find it in the right place, but I can't make any guarantees on that.
Personally, I would get a Wii U because I don't think it would cost you much more. And you can play all the Wii and Wii U games that you want.
Yeah. Well, GMT says, and you can plug GameCube controllers into some Wiis. I believe all Wiis you could plug the GameCube controller into, unless they made another model I'm not aware of. It was just right at the top. There's a little flap that flipped open.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you get the GameCube adapter, you can plug it into Wii U's as well, but it only worked with a single game. That's why I'm glad that they took the same adapter and they programmed it to basically function as Pro controllers for the Switch.
Mm-hmm. The other thing you can do is, if you can find a goddamn Wiimote that will connect up to your PC, which unfortunately I don't think this one does, you can get a Dolphin. You can get the Dolphin emulator and a Dolphin bar, which acts as the whatever it's called, the motion bar.
Yeah.
And play all the games on the PC, and then you kind of have to get ROMs from various places. So, yep. I have Dolphin, and I actually have my bar for my Wii U, but unfortunately, I don't know about this.
I think including GameCube compatibility for the Wii was the smartest thing the company ever did, because when you look at sales, GameCube game sales spiked after the Wii came out, because people don't realize how few people actually bought GameCubes. And now suddenly a lot of people had a system that could play these games, so they were going back and buying the available versions of them.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem, John Dillard. As far as like old Mario games, the eShop is closed.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So you will not be able to go back and buy old Mario games. You're better off probably using an emulator
or
the
NES collection for the Wii, which is a physical game collection.
Okay.
Now you have to find it. That's the problem. But there are physical collections for like old games.
Mm-hmm.
Not as good as NES Remix for the Wii U. I think that was a much better collection, but they do exist.
Yeah,
there are old collections of games.
But NES Remix wasn't the actual games.
No.
It was sort of remix
But I
versions
think
of them.
it was smart because there's very few people that actually want to play through the full old games. There are people who do, but a lot of people just kind of want that nostalgic experience of the games. So just having people play through quick little bits of the games is probably an easier way to get them sold in the modern day.
Mm-hmm. Basically, to answer your question, GMT, the Dolphin emulator is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So, yes, theoretically, if you can run Linux on a Raspberry Pi, then you can run the Dolphin emulator.
Yeah.
Although I don't know how good the results are going to be unless you also connect some sort of graphics card to it.
And, oh wait, no, I'm wrong. The NES Remix is, not Remix, the collection is for GameCube, not Wii. But if you have a Wii, you can still play it on the, because it plays GameCube games.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a
Yes,
Wii
there's
U,
a
you
link.
can't play it. You have to go and play the NES Remix, which doesn't have the full games. I never picked it up because we had Animal Crossing, which had all of the old NES games in it. Like, it had Zelda 1, it had Mario 1, Mario 3. I'm trying to remember what other NES games that you could unlock with Animal Crossing. It took you a long time to unlock them, though. It's not like they were immediately available in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But we had them. And they were the full NES games just in Animal Crossing. Because they take up, like, no space whatsoever.
Wait, what? NES games in Animal Crossing?
In the original Animal Crossing, there were things you could get for your house, and they were little NESs that you plugged into you just put on the ground,
Yeah.
as if you were going to plug them into a TV, and you went up and you hit it, and it literally changed the screen and loaded up the NES game,
Oh, okay.
and you played through it. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm going to be fiddling with this. This controller.
Yeah. GameCube had
great.
such tiny discs. I thought it was cool as a kid, says Mr. Squeakers. Yeah, I thought the little discs were cool too.
Yeah. They seemed pretty cool. Dang it.
I'm wondering though, because I know that was that happened right after like CD-ROM discs had increased in capacity. It was right around the time the DVDs had become the main thing too, because we see the PlayStation 2 and they're using DVD-ROMs. But I'm wondering if choosing to go with that smaller size of the custom disc ultimately limited how much memory that they could have chose if they went with like a full-size disc. Because there's less surface area for the laser to go across.
Yeah, I'd imagine. It limited it considerably.
Yeah.
I think the batteries are dead on this. Can't seem to get it to work at all.
Yeah. You could play NES games in the original Animal Crossing. The Butsu no Mori.
So you can still get those devices, like you can get a little switch in Animal Crossing and put it on the floor,
Yeah, just as
but you can't actually play it. That and a lot of
Well, I
PS2
think that's actually what sold the PS2 over the GameCube in general. As GMT points out, there are a lot of PS2s that sold as DVD players. And that's why it is one of the most popular consoles of all time to be sold. Because DVD players were so fucking expensive when they first came out that it was cheaper to get a PlayStation 2 than it was to get a DVD player.
Well, I'd never had a PlayStation 2, but I'll tell you, I did have a PlayStation 3, and the only reason I bought it was because
Blu-ray.
it played Blu-ray.
Yeah. I think it didn't do as well because Blu-ray players weren't as comparatively expensive as DVD players were when they first came out. So you could have the option of just buying one, but I know a lot of people they just got it for the Blu-ray because it's convenient.
Yeah,
It's like, do I want a player that just plays Blu-ray, or do I want a player that has games and maybe even streaming options later down the road? It's like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because at the time, I had DVD players already, but I bought an HD TV, and DVD looks like shit on an HD TV.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get a Blu-ray player, and I was like, well, hell, PS3 plays Blu-ray. Might as well get that, and I can get games for it. So I did that, and we just used that as our Blu-ray player on our main HD TV. Yes, that's what we're talking about, GMT. Hey, John Dillard, you're muted.
Yeah. Another advantage of the Wii over the Wii U is because the Wii can play GameCube games, that means you have access to the Sonic Mega Collection, which actually has, like, the good Sonic games on it.
I don't think there are good Sonic games.
I think the 2D ones are just fine.
I was totally a Mario fan, anti-Sonic.
I prefer Mario to Sonic, but I still think the original 2D games are just fine.
Yeah, even the Sonic 1 graphics are better than your green screen.
Hey, I blurred it intentionally. You don't like my...
You're getting crept up on... Was it ghost behind you is what's happening?
Yeah, that's right.
No, my wife is like really... She actually was on the verge of telling me to go buy a CRT TV and the Duck Hunt game, original Duck Hunt game, because she wants to shoot something on a screen.
Yeah, I actually have a flash gun like right over here too. Like one of the.
I was like, I don't know if you recall this or not, babe, but that game got real old real fast.
Yeah,
and with that,
in the original, there's only like two things you could do. There's the duck hunt and there's the disc shooting, the clay pigeons. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they got real this guy. And it got real frustrating real fast.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like, corral her towards something that has maybe a bit more variety.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she's looking at me skeptical, like, I don't know, Duck Hunt's pretty great.
No, it's not.
No, it isn't.
You can cheat with Duck Hunt. You just take the controller and you point it at a light bulb and you hit the duck every single time.
That's right.
You need a better game.
I heard something like that before.
Now, how did they do it when there were two ducks on the screen? How did they figure out which one you're aiming at?
I don't know. It just hits it.
Magic and science.
That's right.
Because functionally, this is like a very light camera, is how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it only works with the LCD screens, because it's taking a picture of the little lines on the screen, and the game knows where the duck is on your screen at the time. It takes like a quick little infrared flash, feeds it back into the system, and it knows what it's supposed to be hitting. I don't know why it works with the light bulb. I guess it just confuses the sensors because it's just bright light everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Squeaker suggests you take her just shooting clay pigeons in real life.
No, she doesn't like shooting my guns at all. She hates it.
No.
But she really likes that. I don't know what game that is, but it's at the arcade where you pick up that. I think it's like a Terminator or Alien game. I don't know, one of the two, where it has that big old dope-looking black machine gun, and the whole thing vibrates and jams around as you're shooting it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She likes that, but she hates actually shooting guns.
What is up with that? I might have to switch to my... Well, no. I won't
Yeah.
switch midstream.
Yeah, no, I think the Wii is probably a good option for that. The Wii is not bad. Both of them would be cheap now. It actually might even be cheaper to get a Wii U than a Wii. Just because there are people who still want the Wii U. That want the Wii. The Wii U did not sell well at all, so it's like nobody's really looking for
Can I buy that on Amazon, or do I got to go to somewhere else, like Craigslist or something?
eBay,
probably. Yeah.
I don't want to buy anything off eBay. I don't trust eBay.
Well,
Maybe you
gotta
might
find
still
it.
be able to get the Wii U on Amazon. The Wii, for sure, you're gonna have to go to eBay.
even if you find it on Amazon, it's going to be secondhand from a third party. So, I mean, pretty much the same as eBay. But yeah, you might.
Yeah,
be able
but
to find it.
Amazon will, if it's all jacked up or something, Amazon will actually honor it and take it back and give me my money back.
Apparently still sells the 32 gig Black Deluxe set on Amazon. Like it's under Nintendo Shop.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine.
Nintendo Shop.
Yeah.
This
There's one left in stock. Order soon.
I'm sorry, what was that?
So one left in stock. Order soon.
Oh. How do I get to Nintendo Shop? Damn it.
Yeah. But every other one you see on here, it's just like by Amazon renewed, which means it's not by any first party. Amazon renewed.
It says Wii is 175 on Amazon. That's crazy. I mean, it's like $75 on eBay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's shop.
You know what my aversion to eBay is? I tried to buy something on eBay once, and they were like, "Well, you have to like log in as a," and I don't have my login anymore. And then I wanted to like log out as a guest or something, and it wouldn't let me. They wanted me to put my email that I already used and I forgot the password for.
Yeah, that's a problem. It's store.nintendo.com, by the way.
Yeah.
Here's a question: should I get this Game & Watch system where you
Wait,
can play
are you
Super
gonna
Mario
play
Brothers? What's that?
So are you actually gonna play it?
Probably not. And for $50, why would I ever pay $50 for that? That's insane.
Okay, store.nintendo.com.
Now I don't know if they actually sell it there. I think it's just whatever Nintendo had left over, and you find it on other sites. Because I don't think they officially sell the Wii U anymore.
Classic products: Wii U, games, accessories, replacement parts. Yeah, it looks like it's just games and nunchucks.
Personally, if I was going to buy one, I don't know what's available in your area, but I have retro game stores by me, and I would just go and get one in person.
Do they sell Wii remotes?
On the classic product?
Hey.
The nunchuck? No, I don't think they have the main remotes. I think they just have the nunchuck, unless it's on the next page. Yeah. Just the accessories like the nunchuck.
Blast.
They sell the stereo AV cables though. In case those
Yeah,
are broken.
do that. Oh, you can get a new sensor bar for $7.50.
Okay, Nintendo Wii console and games, 2 sets, authentic controllers, same day shipping, refurbished Nintendo Wii. It's a 4.5 star product rating. This person has sold 931 items with 4.5 stars.
Would a UK Wii work in the US? As long as you have the right power adapter, I don't see why not. I do not believe any of the discs on the Wii was region locked, but let me double check.
And I don't think they don't do the NTSC versus PAL thing anymore, right?
I mean, there are different regions.
Well, that shouldn't apply to an LCD screen.
Oh, no. I don't think that's a problem anymore, yeah.
Where did I put my Wii U? It's over there. Boy, we're reaching the bottom of the barrel with things to talk about.
Yeah. I'm looking to make sure the Wii U is region locked. I remember that. Oh yeah, both the GameCube and the Wii were region locked, but there were ways of modifying and getting past that. But if you don't modify it, if you don't homebrew your machine, then you have to only play PAL versions of Wii games if you were to bring that over. It's not that hard though. The Wii is so easily modifiable. Like, I wouldn't even worry about trying to find like discs that had a Mario game on it. I would just homebrew it and put all the Mario games onto it. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I did with my Wii U. Was I homebrewed it, and you have to separately homebrew the Wii, the virtual Wii. But I did both.
Yeah. And it's cool because it just shows up on as a homebrew channel.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I like any of these RPGs that are on sale on GOG. Except did I buy Witcher 2?
I don't remember
like
if you did. I remember you asking me if you should or not.
Yeah, it was $3, so I feel like I probably did, but I don't even remember now. Maybe not.
Marsupio, did you get my DMs?
Yes, they look wonderful.
Well, I was gonna say what were your thoughts, but I guess I wondered.
I don't want to hear his thoughts about you sliding into his DMs and showing off your number.
What?
Well, what else?
Yeah, I didn't get that last part. What is that showing off your number? What does that
Your
mean?
number, your member, your other finger, your third leg, whatever you want to call it.
I don't think that's what's happening.
What else would he be
Yeah,
showing you in
good.
DMs? Isn't that why people slide into people's DMs?
He showed me something nice. He showed me lots of interesting bobs. Basically, the title screen for Brightleaf. Not colored yet, but yes, he's finished all the characters.
Who should we get to color it?
I don't know. Where's Copain?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to color it.
Well, you need somebody who can color similarly to what you see in visual novels. There's a very distinct coloring type that people like. That very Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
You say Japanese word like you're Japanese. What's the world's most famous visual novel, other than that one that you keep talking about, Marsupial?
Which one does he keep talking? Oh, he keeps talking about
Doki.
yeah, Doki Doki Literature
Doki Doki goes to college. I don't know, needs a friend, wants to hang out, something like that.
Clannad is probably pretty popular. Maybe even
Spell
more than
that, please.
Clannad, Clanad, is a really popular one. Maybe even more popular is Fate. Slash.
Oh,
Stay
I said, what's
Night.
the most popular?
Yeah, I think Fate Stay Night might be even more popular because it spawned the entire Fate series off of it.
You said Fate's Day Night?
Fate Stay Night. I'll drop it in the chat. It's like FATE.
I found it.
Okay, they don't need to type it then. And that one actually
you heard
is
it.
closer to the genre you're looking for with that kind of fantasy design.
Well, I can color like this. This is just cell shading with a little bit of tone.
Yeah. Fate specifically is more of like that anime look.
Show me how to lie. All right, so we had talked about before. Those are just the girls. I just put like a we can reuse the same thing. We're gonna be reusing the same images a lot anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They can be their base, talking poses, and also maybe like a continuation screen pose. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But for the main actual cover, the main, the one that's going to be going out there that people are going to see and decide whether or not they're going to click on this button with it because of this image. Yeah. Overall, what would you say? What color? Do you want it to look warm? Do you want it to look cool? Do you want it to look flashy with a lot of special effects on it, or do you want it to look very like the ones we were looking at with the people standing in a room, where it looked very grim and dour with like detective style? You know what I mean?
No,
what do you think about the feel?
I think something outside, outdoorsy, with lots of green behind them.
So like the title screen from like a Dragon Quest or something.
Perhaps, yeah. Something along those lines. What are we listening to?
I don't know. This guy's kind of monotone.
Let's see. It's a Sonic the Hedgehog remix. I'm not even digging it, but it's almost over.
Yeah, I mean something. See, here's the thing. I want the presentation of it to be very light and like I said, outdoorsy, lots of green, sort of happy. But then when you actually play the game, I want it to be I want there to be a sinister aspect.
John dropped out.
Fuck him too, I guess.
Yeah, he probably clicked the wrong thing. So you're probably going closer. If you want it outdoorsy, you want a little bit of a warm look, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe offset by some cold colors, like the green. You might want to be a little bit bluer to offset how warm everything else is.
Yeah.
And maybe use like sunlight to blend it together.
Hello?
Hello, did you click the wrong button again?
Yep.
Yeah. But the way he was saying it, it sounds like he wants to go more in a warmer direction for the presentation of like the title screen. And then he said he wants it to be more grim and dour when you get into the game. Like a sunshine day.
Yeah, or like, it'll start that way, but then sinister things will happen.
How do I... There I am, okay. I'm going to share my screen to you. I'm going to share my screen to you, Marsupial.
If you share it to him, then it goes to everyone.
Alright, whatever. Which one of these strikes you as like, are you something like this?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Also want you to know Cat's judging you for sliding into his DMs.
Cat?
Or something like this.
Oh, for sliding into my DMs.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No? What about this?
No, I think if you look up like Dragon Quest 11.
Skies of Arcadia, that's what you want.
What is Skies?
Something like this.
Have you never seen the cover for Skies of Arcadia?
I'll look it up here. SKIES of Arcadia. I don't think this is what he wants at all.
Yeah, no. It
Oh,
doesn't.
not the cover. I'm thinking of a different one. I'm thinking about the poster that came along with it.
I really like the cover to Dragon Quest. Let's see.
Yeah. So you want me to share mine and show you what I'm thinking?
See, I like this one. This is my favorite Dragon Quest. Ooh. And I like
Wait,
this
let me
cover.
see. Oh no. Do a search for Dragon Quest 11.
This one right here?
Well, yeah, that's okay.
I have this game.
See, not cover. Here. I need to share my screen. Did that take over the share screen?
I have to switch it.
It's this image that I'm thinking of.
That's like a Zelda image.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, you're asking that from like the Zelda Turbo fan, so.
Yeah.
But we're not doing Zelda. We're doing Love in the Time of Cholera, the graphic novel.
Well, we're not doing Dragon Quest 11 either, but I mean, this is, you asked for an example of sort of. I mean, this one's good. I like this kind of look. I'm hearing myself echo
That's
now.
very
definitely.
good. Yeah, I can hear you echo too.
That's probably from your the stream thing. Let me mute that. There we go.
Look at all those
from
pornography
YouTube.
tabs. Get Marsupial
Anyway.
looks up at the top of his screen.
I know I don't have any. But yeah,
All right.
something along those lines.
Kat wants to know what comic you guys are making now. They're not. They're making a visual novel.
It's a visual novel. You can put on like a pair of warm socks and put your laptop on your lap there and play a wonderful game about romance and high adventure in the time of cholera.
Only there's going to be no cholera. Maybe some dysentery.
The hell? I thought it was a plague of cholera.
I didn't say cholera.
I think you just
Like
wanted
Bullet,
it to say
yeah.
cholera.
Like Bullet, only ours is actually going to get done and released. That's the difference there.
Bullet's making one too?
Yeah, he's been working on it for like
Yeah,
what, 2
he's-
years now.
Something like that. Something like that. Hi, Kat.
To be
How's it
fair,
going?
I think he's working on it all by himself though, which is a lot of effort to be the single person working on something like that.
That's right. We're going to have a team of hundreds of people working on ours.
Yeah, well, when you have a team of people, 2 years like the average development cycle for a visual novel. You're by yourself, you know, God knows how long it's going to take.
That's right.
You should show off the bright leaf cover with all four of them together.
Well, I could. If I wanted to. Hold on.
Since you took over the screen share from me.
I'm just saying you should do something like Fade Extella. That's a really good color.
What's that?
It's from the Fate series, like Fate Stay Night. It's just a later one.
Oh my goodness. Hello? Yeah, I'll be right in.
All right. Let's see.
Looks like dinner's ready, boys.
Oh, was I? Am I still sharing?
Yeah, you're sharing that Dragon Quest screen.
Okay. Hold on.
You guys better make it funny, she says.
Hold on. Let me open this up with, I guess. Can I share that?
I don't know. Discord will let you know if you can share it or not.
Yeah, apparently I can. There we go. That's what John sent me. Among other things. Let me see. Also had the title screen, which is a little bit hard to read until it's,
Man,
well,
that
colored.
Witcher Express got
Until it's
way
gotten
bigger
color.
since the last time I saw her.
Wait a minute. Change windows. I guess I should just... Here, I'll just share my whole screen.
Why do you guys have Ash from League of Legends in there?
Can you see
Who's
that?
Ash?
Ash is a character from League of Legends. She's an archer. She's actually basically just a more human version of Sylvanas Windrunner from Warcraft.
I don't know any of the words you're saying.
So yeah, there they are. So which one got bigger?
The Paladin lady. Of course, it was mostly just a rough sketch, but
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't notice that, but yes.
Cat says Brightleaf. Sounds familiar. Well, I figure since nobody's using it, I'll take it.
Was that something you were working on with Cat?
Yeah, with Cat and Model, yeah. And I sent him a DM a couple days ago. He hasn't gotten back to me. I'm like, oh, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know about that Paladin's very large and bulbous. But okay.
I can get rid of him.
The Ranger's a little saggy, don't you think?
Well, I didn't want to give them all the exact same tits. I don't know.
Yeah,
They're heavy and they're only cupped at the bottom, so they fall like they would.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're supposed to be concentrating on, the ringlets of the curly red-haired girl. Obviously. That's where she stores her holy power. Alright. Enough of that. So. Yes, that's what John Diller's been working on.
Don't say my real name associated with this project.
And I'm working on the script.
No, you're not.
So I am.
Read me the first paragraph.
No, it's a secret.
He's just gonna outsource the whole script to his girlfriend.
Yeah, right.
The greater her favor with her god, the bigger they get, till she's a medieval power girl, according to Travis. It's just gonna happen throughout the game. John's gonna pull a power girl, and he's gonna see how big he can gradually make them in each scene until he gets called out on it.
It's gonna be really difficult to make a decision on the screen because the boobs are just gonna be covering everything.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna go eat dinner. I will see you guys later.
Okay.
All right. Good talking to you.
And bye, everybody in the chat. Peace out.
See ya.
I'm surprised you guys don't have at least one flat girl, which is pretty common in these type of games. Try to appeal to all audiences.
Well, these are yeah. John didn't exactly consult me on all aspects of this, so I think we're going to we may have to adjust some of these characters just a bit.
GMT says that she keeps coming up with great names for things, and you personally keep resisting them.
No, I didn't. I liked. Let's see. What did we decide on? I like Gwyneth. Is that what we decided on? Or yeah. Gwyneth is the potentially the name of the mage. I think she came up with that one.
Yeah, you just call her Gwen for short.
Yeah. I liked Mina potentially. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah. We decided the brunette, the ranger, might be was probably going to be called Mina, short for Wilhelmina. So I think those are both. Aren't those both GMT's ideas? Maybe not.
I don't know whose ideas are what. I don't follow this that closely.
So
I get all my information secondhand from whenever you start talking about it.
I'm gonna post. I'm gonna post this paladin though on mine. Game dev, indie dev.
Dillard's in the chat, talking smack to you. He's like, consult. Marsupial just keeps coming up with excuses to play other people's visual novels instead of actually having ideas. Well, I do think if you're going to develop something in a genre, you should at least be, or more of a medium, but I guess you guys are going with more of the classical dating sim genre within it. You should be familiar with the other works in the medium and genre.
Yeah, that's what I think. Now, why in God's name does Minds refuse to let me post pictures?
I don't know. Every so often it does that. Like, I tried a few nights ago, and it just was not letting me post it. It would keep putting the text in the picture spot, and I had to keep deleting the post.
Yeah, I don't understand what's happening here. And, okay. I'm trying to upload a picture, but it won't let me. I don't get it. Oh well. They're screwed up.
Yep.
Never mind then. We'll just leave the lovely who is this? Oh, this girl's name is Rosie. We'll leave Rosie as my pinned comment, my pinned post.
Go next level and have a concave girl.
There you go. That would be super
How's she
woke.
breathe? Because that'd be like if your chest caved in, right? Like how do her lungs expand? What's going on there? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm wondering if I need to send John pictures of breasts to be like, no, make her look like this. I don't know.
No, yeah. You actually have to start going down the size charts and stuff.
That's right.
But
yes, as I recall, the paladin was not quite as bodacious as that.
Yeah. It's like borderline
We'll
and somewhere along like the lines of a J or a K cup right there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We may have to adjust that a little bit. I don't know if that's practical.
You haven't said anything about practical.
Rick was able. Well, weirdly, I was able to post a picture too, but I've tried posting. Some of them work and some of them don't. I wonder if it's not letting you post PNGs or JPEGs or something. I don't know.
I think it's a size thing too. Like I've noticed a lot of times if I make my picture smaller, it'll post. I don't think it actually has a size limit, but if there's stress on the servers, because there are still every day more people coming in as they find out about mines with everything going on, that it might just be harder to get larger file sizes up at the moment.
Maybe.
So a lot of
'Cause
times
I posted
I'm shrinking my pictures.
Yeah, I posted a GIF earlier and it went up, so those tend to be smaller.
Yeah, they're
What is up
compressed.
with them?
Because PNG's like almost non-compressed at this point. You know?
Yeah, I tried uploading a JPEG just now. So I might have to...
Like, I've been dropping down a lot of my DPIs to 300 before uploading it there, and then just reverting it back afterwards. Well, yeah, you know what? There's a reason why stuff like that is popular, though. Like, in almost every visual novel, there's at least one character who has, like, the body type of Gura. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because there's people who find that sexually attractive, and you are trying to sell that to people in a visual novel, or in this type of visual novel. And there's people who like stuff on the other end, which is actually a really good showing of the spectrum of things that people find attractive in that regard, is just by looking at all of the HoloLive girls and looking at how they go from like basically flat to how the hell does she even walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to adjust some of those characters. I don't know.
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if within a year or so there's a HoloLive visual novel, because that thing would sell like crazy.
Yeah, if you could get the rights to that IP, I think that would be awesome. I don't even know all the characters. I know Coco and Gargura, that's about it.
Oh god, there's a lot. There's 5. Is there 5 English, or is there 6? I'm trying to remember. There's Kali, Gura, Ame, Ina, Kiara. Yeah, there's 5 English ones. But then there's like... Oh, I don't even know how many Japanese ones are, because they call them by generations, and there's 5 generations now of Japanese HoloLive people. So there's probably going to be... There's like probably 20 Japanese HoloLive girls for all I know.
Now, how long do they do it before they're graduated?
Oh, well, they don't.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. You know, the original ones are still around. There's no graduation there. It's just like, well, the generation is basically we're taking auditions and putting new people out. So they put them out in waves.
Yeah. John knows I said no such thing.
No, I'm pretty sure Elric is the one who said that. Like,
Yeah,
I
I don't
almost
even use
exactly
that term.
remember Elric typing that into chat.
There you go.
Yeah, they all need to have really big tracts of land. Actually, probably would have said large tracts of land, being Elric,
That's right.
because that's how he speaks.
Yeah, he's
Always
listening to
quoting
Elric.
Python.
listening to Elric and thinking that I'm saying it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even use that term, so.
Yeah,
Doesn't
like,
sound like me.
when talking about breasts, who on Earth just only ever uses the singular reference from Monty Python and the Holy Grail? From only one bit in it, too.
Only Elric.
Like, there's so many good names for breasts, too. Tatas, knockers. I mean, take your pick, man. Or speaking of the HoloLives, they call them the Boing Boings. See, you need a hydrodynamic character in your game.
Well, regardless, now that I've seen them, I think yeah, some adjustments may be in order, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we're gonna be talking about, dozens of poses for each character, then better to fix it now than wait until later on.
Yeah, for sure.
In fact, I liked his original Paladin better. I thought that he didn't like and started over.
Yeah, apparently he wasn't happy with anything about it, basically.
Yeah. That's all right. But you make a good point. TMT says, I used to know someone who knew a word for breast with every letter of the alphabet. He was amazing and a little creepy.
Well, you know, they are God's gift to humanity, so you might as well find a word for them in every letter of the alphabet.
There you go. But yeah, that's a good point. We do need a more tomboyish character, probably. Maybe the mage. Maybe the mage could be a bit smaller.
Oh, yeah. What's it called? Like Megumin from Konosuba.
Yeah, she's already a little shorter.
Yeah.
So there you
Explosion! Yeah. Was that a manga or a VN, actually? Let me look up Konosuba. The anime is great, but I don't know the source for it. Or is it a light novel? It might have been a light novel.
I certainly like all the characters. I just don't know if
Yeah, they were light novels.
some minor adjustments. I might have to look that up.
What?
Breast names for every letter of the alphabet?
Oh.
I can't even
all
imagine.
these lyrical songs.
What are you looking up?
Huh? Oh, I'm not looking up anything. It was one of the background songs started having lyrics playing, and I wanted to skip it.
He could do other body parts too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, like how much is the variability of their rear ends? That's what we gotta know. I mean, I know you mostly see them facing on, but that doesn't mean at least with one of the characters there could be some time where you come up from behind.
Indeed.
Like, what if you catch the milkmaid at the town well, and they're trying to pull the bucket out? Because that's another thing that you see is common in visual novels, is you have their interactive poses, but throughout, almost like a book or a light novel, you'll occasionally just get like hand-painted pictures of like a full scene. And it's just a single picture that sets up the scene before it goes to them talking to you again. It's usually like a key point, maybe sometimes when you first meet a character or something important has happened. But you do occasionally get images like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of... I feel like there's another visual novel that I played a while back, where they would have like a scene, like it took place at a school, and the scene was basically like the street that you'd walk to get to the school.
Yeah.
And every morning you'd see that scene.
And then it would clip over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you get stuff like that all the time in VNs.
But,
of course, your average VN also has like 4 or 5 artists working on it.
Sure. Well, we'll have to see how we do with the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But we're starting out with one artist and one writer, and depending on how much we get funded, we'll go from there. If we don't get funded, then we'll continue with one artist and one writer.
If at all.
But we'll see.
Yeah. You never know what the future might hold. Or drop. Because sometimes the future doesn't want to hold anything.
Sometimes the future is too big to hold.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes when I think about the future, what it might hold, I'm thinking of like that old meme where it's like The guy who's like leaning over and like Photoshop things into their hand is like, how can I hold all of these blank? Like, yeah, how can I hold all of these Oscars?
Right. GMT wants to play PSO2. What is PSO2?
Oh my god. If you play PSO2, play with me. Unless there's a European server. I don't know if there is. You should definitely stay on a local server. There's Phantasy Star Online too. But if there isn't a local server and you have to choose between Asia and North America, we should play together. I don't know if there's like one closer to you or not.
Yeah, Rick and Metal have been playing PSO2.
No, I love Phantasy Star Online. I've been playing a lot of it lately too. I just got to level 65. I'm trying to get to 90 like as fast as possible. I was even looking up methods for grinding experience faster.
And once you get to 90, is there end game content that you get to?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of stuff, but the thing is, when I get to 90, that means it becomes easier to power level the other classes. Because in Phantasy Star, you don't just play as one class. You have your main class, but you can switch it at any time, kind of like a job system. But all the other classes are level 1 or whatever you left them at. But you can also have a subclass. So once you're at level 90, you could just like keep switching your subclass around, and it becomes easier to grind through because you have the level 90 stuff unlocked and you get a lot more experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, see if you get it running through Wine or something like that. I know it's because you can run it on Steam. You don't need the Windows Store. I don't know if the game runs on Linux through Steam or not. Steam has been pretty good about that in general, but
apparently it's out for Switch.
In Japan only, I think, and it's a companion thing.
Oh. Interesting. Is there cross-platform play or?
Yeah, between Xbox and Windows. Yeah, it's all the same server.
I see. What about like PlayStation?
I don't believe the game is available on PlayStation.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah, unless it came out around the time the Steam one did. It wasn't originally available because Microsoft was the one that paid for the North American port of the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. But it is free on Steam, right?
Yeah, it's free to play on Steam. Oh, yeah, you can't get it to work on Linux. Because of its VAT system. Anti-cheat. And anti-cheat hates Linux.
Oh.
So you have to be running it on Windows. I even looked up too. It doesn't seem anybody has found out a way of getting it to work on Linux yet.
You'd have to at least be in a Windows emulator, I guess.
Yeah, and even then, and the anti-cheat stuff usually acts up with that.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. Like, I know Wine and a lot of, like, the Steam VAT and other various anti-cheat just does not, like, to cooperate with each other.
So how do they make all their money from selling you these add-on packs and stuff like that?
They make all the money basically from the in-game stuff, because there's like cosmetics and stuff, there's in-game currencies. So basically, they dangle the carrot in front of you, like, hey, you want this, pay some money. If you're fine without having that stuff, and grinding things the old-fashioned way, buying things from like the player's store where people can put things in the auction market, that's fine. Like, I don't pay any money on this game whatsoever. But there's people who are easily persuaded by like flashy stuff and can't bother to grind, or they want all the flashy stuff before they go away, so they just start putting money into the system. It's actually a really good way of doing things, honestly. Like when you think about it, it's almost a way of socializing a game, but in a capitalist market.
Yeah, one wonders, like, would World of Warcraft do better if they made it free to play, or, and try? I don't know.
I don't know how it works with them, because they have the auction place too, and I don't know if they have an in-game currency, but A lot of people don't actually end up grinding the materials to craft better stuff or anything like that. They just grind the money to buy it from the auction house from other players, which is how I get most of my stuff. Like, I don't bother doing the crafting. I just grind the heck out of the actual currency of the game, the Nesta, which is like their gold thing, and then I'll just buy what I need from the auction house for the player market.
Yeah.
Mostly because I think crafting sucks in like 99% of MMOs. I don't. There's people who love it too. It's like, I cannot get into crafting. It is the most boring part of the game.
Yeah, I'm almost glad I lost my Skyrim character because I want to play again but do less crafting.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing that bugged me about Skyrim is that I could never really craft anything that was really good. That I could figure out. I think it might have been better if I'd spent my points on more magic or better, attack skills or something like that. So.
But if anybody plays Phantasy Star Online 2 or wants to, I highly recommend it, and let me know. We should play together. I could get you some levels really quick if you just want to get a boost into the game. To get through the game, though, you do have to play some of the story mode, because as you progress through the story, you unlock some other stuff that you can do in the single or in multiplayer areas. But other than that, it's like you can do most things together. It's a really fun game. It doesn't have the exploration part of MMOs, because it just drops you into dungeons, like instances. But there is another game coming out, we talked about it before, New Genesis, that is a planet that you can explore, and it will use the same character. So all the time that you put into the regular Phantasy Star Online 2 will not be wasted when New Genesis comes out. It's basically a brand new game that just used the same player account details.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll download it and try it out.
Yeah,
It's
let
free,
me know if you do. It does take up a lot of space, but not as much as some of the other games you just, like Ark you just downloaded. That one takes up a heck of a lot. This one's only like 80, which is still a lot, but it's not like these 100+ gig games. And this one, it makes more sense because it's like 8-9 years old, so they've had a lot of content to add. But I guess Ark's like what? It only recently officially came out, but it's been in development and open beta for 5 years now.
Mm-hmm. Did you say? I'm not sure if there's an MMORPG where you get to play as a shopkeeper of a barmaid, but if there were, that's what I'd like to play sometimes.
Yeah.
Shopkeeper or a barmaid, maybe.
I think that's probably R and F are right next to each other on the keyboard, so that could work. Now there's MMOs that kind of let you take over the NPC role if you want to. You kind of have to go out of your way to get the stuff for it, but yeah, there's some things you can play.
Yeah.
I do think there should be, without having to engage in combat, and maybe you can level up differently. Kind of like that one guy who never left the starting area in WoW and only picks flowers. There should be options that you can play in the world the way you want to, and maybe just take over the NPC role. Like, and just be one yourself.
They could have done that with Fantasy Life too. If they'd ever done a Fantasy Life.
Second Life as a game in whole was kind of like becoming an NPC in a sort, because everybody just kind of went off and did what they wanted to do and interact with each other. The problem is Second Life had its own rung of problems, including the furry menace. You just walk behind a bush and you see two furries over there, like, using animations to act like they're screwing each other. Go and scar a kid for life.
Luckily, I left Second Life long before that started.
Yeah, I didn't stay in that game very long because of stuff like that. Like, I played it for a week and then I was out. Like, oh, so this is the game everybody's been talking about. I'm over it. But it had potential, with stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, we made it. We made it through this episode.
Yeah, I was about to say it's time to call it to an end.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time on the Vomitorium, same time on Sunday. And catch all the other random stuff that both of us do throughout the week.
Bye.